Welcome, welcome, welcome to a special edition of the Team Fetty Show, and you know what time it is.
It's time to do.
Friends, oh friends, oh friends. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing well. We have two heavyweights in the building, two lovely ladies here to see who wins once again. The Dark Empire rise again. So let's have fun.
Welcome everyone to the official debate section of the Charter Review.
All right, I didn't come here to argue with you.
Oh, yes, you did. We're having a debate. Debate ain't nothing but an argument.
Doctor, can we relate? Can we relate? Can we debate? But I want debate. I tell the gate. All about Kate. Can we debate? Can we debate? Can we relate? Can we relate? Can we debate? But I want debate. I tell the gate. All about Kate. Can we debate? Can we debate? Can we debate?
Thank you very much. And your rebuttal, Mr. Carville.
We have no response. That was perfect.
So friends, there's 200 people watching. All the links are going to be in the description. I'm going to drop them on the chat. So if you see a link of one moderator that you're not following, go ahead and click on the link. The likes are for free. There's 200 people watching. This is being triple streamed. Okay, so if you're on Fantastic Show, on Cheeky Show, support, and make their times worth, please. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And without further ado, let me present my the fellow gladiators today. I'm going to start with the villain today because he's the villain. They're like first time in the history of mankind, GBG General Cheeky Banter in the building. How you doing, Cheeky?
I don't know about being the first villain. I've been a villain before, but I get what you're saying, man. I'm good, man. Happy to help support and bring people to your platform, dog. I think what you're doing is a good thing. Switch it up. I like it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much once again, Cheeky, for being here, and good luck. And on the other corner, it is the opposite. This man is the villain all the time, every time. And today, he is the one trying to save the galaxy. Mr. Fantastic is in the building.
Hey, what up, man? Just trying to keep a perfect record, baby. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's here. Let's get it, man.
Damn. Now you got me feeling bad because I don't have a win still. Aww. It's fine. He's going to come one day. Let me read the rules for the chat real quick for the interaction part, okay? I want to make sure that today there's no misunderstandings in the rules and all that. So please, oh please, look at the screen. I will go to the interaction of the public so you guys can know exactly what can happen, okay? Please pay attention and take notes. All these triggers, you can trigger these on Fantastic Show, okay? It's totally fine. If the money goes to him or to Cheeky, there's no problem at all, okay? There's no problem at all. I just want y'all to make sure that y'all know the rules of the debate so you can interact. So friends, the first way you can interact, and is usually the normal, the most regular, is the $20 question, okay? If you send $20 or more, you can ask all the questions and the intervenants are going to read them. They are going to have to answer by the end of the 30 minutes of the debate. So, and like send questions, and we are going to make sure we get through that. We have something called Activate Shadow Realm. Please pay attention, especially for the people of X5 Club. Please pay attention. Activate Shadow Realm is a no holds bar, the gloves off segment. Okay, it costs $100 to trigger, and the clock stops. Okay, you can go below the belt, but please don't go to hell. Please just go below the belt, or be fun with it, or be witty with it. I would appreciate that. The debaters still can dodge questions from their opponents and have to engage with each other. So as soon as you see this, the shadow realm is on. So this is the trigger. We already know what it is. You can Google it. Google it doesn't mean that it's Google, okay? It's just a name. The debater can challenge the accuracy of a statement using Google, playing a video, show evidence. Mods will decide if the source is valid or not, okay? So this is a tool for the people engaging into the debate. We have call a friend, just like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Ask for a friend or someone in the audience to come up and help the debater that triggered this action in for 10 minutes. The clock stop, and finally, this is the new rule and the last rule, and the rules are on the screen so everybody can see what's going on. $175 to trigger a bump a moderator that you think is doing a terrible job, okay? $175 to bump a moderator you think he's doing a terrible job. The public has 10 minutes to match and bring him back. We can only do it once a show. So if on those 10 minutes, nobody brings the moderator that was brought back, we are going to introduce another moderator, and it's good to go. Once again, these are the rules. I want to say hello to the lovely moderators I have next to me. I waited a little bit because once again, you guys know already who they are. Let me start with the three-time moderator. She's been highly acclaimed, Jochebed. She is in the building. How are you doing, Jochebed?
I'm good. How are you doing, Fatty?
I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. Do you want to say something to these bastards before they start calling you names? Nothing? No.
Good luck, gentlemen.
If they call you names, I get them. I get them. And for the first time, she's known across the pond, Lady Chen, with her famous "In the boot is it?" Hi, Chen. How are you doing?
Hi, Fatty. I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing awesome too. Chen, you want to say something before they start calling you names?
May the best man win.
Oh, shit. So let's the best man win.
It's time to do.
Friends, I'm just going to read these $20 super chats real quick just to set up the pace. And then we go from there. I want to thank my brother El Canali. Says, good luck to my brothers, Fantastic and Cheeky. May the best man win. Salute. May the best mind win. Salute to the untouchables. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. Wow, you can't do that. What?
You out.
Wow, J-Hub, you are.
You out.
Hey, the surprise moderator. Somebody has 10 minutes to bring me back, okay, friends? I'm going to still host the show on the back. The surprise moderator, you know who you are. Like prepare yourself, okay? You guys have 10 minutes to match J-Hub. If nobody matches J-Hub, I will go to the back and just be I'll just be Damn. The clock is still not even going. God damn it, but it's fine. Valerie in the building saying hello, Mr. Fantastic. Good luck, Cheeky. Thank you very much, Valerie. And friends, it's my birthday, so I would consider a birthday gift if any single one of you could save me. It's my birthday in 36 hours. God damn it, JF. Thank you for the support. Laura Meg, $20. Cheeky, Beaky. May the odds ever be in your favor. God damn it. And finally, Jay beat us with $200. So we have 10 minutes. If nobody matches, I have to bring the moderator number 3. Let me send him a message. Oh shit. So Lord Jesus. So the clock is on 2 hours. When we get to the 1 hour and 50 minutes, if nobody saves me and sends 200 to match, I am done for the day. So let's start this shit.
Please lock the cage doors at this time.
The chain off! Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of play time! Ah!
And just to make sure I get to the $50 cash app too. Thank you very much, Donnell, and all the people watching. I appreciate you. My boy T.O. eat me with the $50 ball. Thank you very much, friends. That's really appreciated.
Who needs money for ice cream? Boo want ice cream, but Boo needs money for ice cream, so Boo want money.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's start the clock. Do you guys want to throw a coin? Like, what do you guys want to do? You guys want to who wants to go first? Like, what do you guys want to do? Oh, paper. Okay, paper, rock, scissors, or whatever the order is. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Damn. So Cheeky won. Cheeky decides who goes first. Once again, friends, join the Untouchable Discord. Is popping like crazy, and the Hamburger Fund is still on. So I appreciate you, Harrison Davies and Donnell. Please support the content creators, Mr. Fantastic and Cheeky. Even the super chat reads that are below the $20 mark are going to be read at the end of the show. So let's have fun.
It's time to do.
Cheeky, who goes first?
Fantastic can go first.
Damn, Fantastic can go first. So the clock starts now. Let's have fun. 315 people watching. Please like the video. The likes are for free. Mr. Fantastic. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, I think you have YouTube on the back, brother.
Somebody got it. Yeah, somebody got a me. Not me.
No. You good. Go ahead.
Hey, today I will be representing for the traditional family setup where the man is the breadwinner and provider for the family. Pretty much I'm going to use a combination of societal norms and data and statistics to prove my point. And I'm curious to see what my opponent has to say.
Cheeky.
All right. So I'm of the belief that house husband is the best answer to modern men's problems in relation to marriage and divorce, and the risk that men have today from getting married, apart from not being married at all. However, this is not the only area in which men stand to benefit from this progressive idea. I think we need to be a little bit more progressive when it comes to men and their role in society as well as relationships, because we've seen the effects from self deletion rates and other things as well. I think most men should be accepting and supporting of this idea. Um, and I'll present several reasons as to why I think that'll be the case. So, due to America always, I don't think America is going back to olden times. I think America is going to be continually progressive, just like the rest of the world. And because America and the world is going to be more progressive on a societal level, that I think that should also apply to men. I think that progressivism may have been started by men, but it shouldn't stop at cisgendered men. To be clear, because we have a certain type of man saying that they either way. All I'm saying is progressivism, all right, shouldn't stop at cisgendered men, right? It shouldn't just stop there. That's not fair. If the whole world's going to be that way, then that means we should be included as well. Don't try to keep us traditional or modern if that's not what the world looks like.
Mm, So, opening statements are in the board. I want to see who wants to actually open the formalities when it comes to the debate. Mr. Fantastic, what do you have to say about Cheeky mission statement, the original statement?
Well, as you said, it's a progressiveness is more.
Oh shit! Somebody save me. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, Fantastic.
Cool.
I appreciate you bring Fatty back, so I'm motherfucking back.
Brother.
I'm back. I'm sorry. These can be used again, okay? This can't be used again. The only way for us to do it is opening the Shadow Realm, but the Shadow Realm has nothing to do with replacement, so I guess we are going to stay here the whole night. So go ahead, Mr. Fantastic. You got it. Thank you very much, Ilkanali and Jayab, for opening whatever we have going on. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So, again, as my opponent said, he stated progressiveness is a mindset, and it may, even though it may be the way of things people think will work, the data shows that it will not work. Men, when it comes to divorce and family and all these different things, actually become in worse situations when the woman is a breadwinner. So, going with the progressive mindset of it, especially for the cisgendered aspect of it, the world literally cannot survive without the cisgendered man being in the workforce. Just cannot survive. And that's my thing for now.
Cheeky, why do you disagree? Like with this? No, actually, why do you think a change in the format that we had throughout centuries, probably millennia, needs to change right now?
I don't think that it needs to change. I think that it is changing. I think that's the difference between millennia and now, is that for the first time we're seeing things that have never been seen before. And if we don't adapt to those changes, then we're bound to be left behind. I think that it would be great if things remain traditional, but we do realize that women are not going to go back in the kitchen. They're not going to be barefoot and pregnant. They're not going to do these things. Instead, they're actually going to be seeking and looking for the position that men have held for the millennia and they're actually achieving these things now statistically. So I think it's just time to take a look into what's happening currently and try to adjust according to the times instead of trying to uphold something that everyone is against and we can't even uphold on a societal level or by law.
Did I'm trying to ask questions without being biased. Please, friends, be patient. We are building the plane as we fly.
Yeah, may I ask a question?
Go
It's
ahead,
Cheeky.
Jochebed. Yes.
Cheeky, you said that when you say we cannot uphold these benefits or we cannot uphold by law, what do you mean? Can you expound on that?
So there by law, I think there is no level of regression. So for example, regression would consist of women not working in the workplace or women not being able to vote. You know, we've heard women like Pearl Davis or Pearly Thing say, I don't think women should vote, but we do realize that the actuality of that happening is it's not going to happen. If anything, we'll be more progressive where we see women in more positions of power because that's actually what they're pushing for through diversity and inclusion initiatives and several different things, trying to make sure that the wrongs of history towards women will be made right. And I think that men being who we are naturally, we're just going to be ignored in the process, and we won't be able to stop that on a legal level because there's nothing illegal against progressivism. There is something illegal against regressivism.
Let me ask you something, Cheeky, so we can define one thing real quick. Can you define husbands real quick so Fantastic can explain to us why, like the intricacies of what might happen if we apply that?
So let me see here. I'll just go with this. Oh, give me a second. I think the definition for house husband should be very similar, if not the same or interchangeable, to housewife. So when you just Google the term, housewife is a woman whose main occupation is caring for her family, managing household affairs, and doing housework while her husband or partner goes out to work. And I would just reverse that. So a man whose main occupation is caring for his family, managing household affairs, and doing housework while his wife or partner goes out to work.
Fantastic. Why is your go ahead, you got this.
Yeah, cool. So the problem with that again would be immediately. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, so the problem with that would be again the immediate impact on the workforce. By him saying this, I would think he. What can I ask a clarifying question? Is this something that you feel like the majority of men should uptake, or because that's where we're coming from this from, to where more men, and we're getting to the point of where there's almost equality, or more men being house husbands than work husbands?
So not necessarily that more men should be house husbands, but it should be accepted and supported by men. The issue that we tend to have when having a conversation is men totally rejecting the idea and demonizing it as if it shouldn't happen at all. Right? That's we haven't even got to the part where we can even think about most men just accepting the idea.
All right, cool. So the way I can attack this then at this point, okay, so still even with that being said, if it's not the majority of men, if you have a substantial number of men increasing this, you will have an immediate decline in production. And that's not just nationwide, that's worldwide. Women work 12% less, right? Than and actually it's not 12% less. Yeah, so 12% less women are in the workforce that are for the men that are in the workforce. I think it's 25 to like 50, right? So the issue and problem with that is that now you're requiring the woman to not only have to provide more, she's going to have to work more. And we always know one of the biggest issues and reason why there's a gender pay gap is because women work less hours. So a big part of what women do is they work in the workforce and they work in the home force. So now you're going to have more women that are taking on extra burdens and stress. And that leads to other things that are going to be not only intermarital issues, but possibly family issues. So when you're talking about, again, men reversing the roles that have been accepted for their gender norms, that's going to be a real hard for any man to expect, because it literally goes against what he's always been told and raised that his purpose is.
Cheeky, do you want to reply or want us to ask you a question?
Yeah, I can reply to that. So the thing about women not, or that gap between women, that 12% gap, the question is, why is that? And then also, do they have they had the opportunity to do so? Because again, that's why things like the more progressive things within corporate America, specifically like the diversity and inclusion, exist, is because that gap has existed for an extended period of time and has discouraged women from seeing themselves in a position to work where men have worked traditionally. So I think that through statistics of college education, and the fact that men are actually declining when it comes to education within the 2-year college and the 4-year, all the stats are showing men's decline in that jobs that require a 4-year degree or more is going to be replaced by who? Those who have it, which would be women. So when it comes to the fear or the caution against the workforce being shift one way or another because men aren't working it, is actually being accounted for through other aspects within society today now, which I think will also cause men to be more. We'd have to accept that more men who don't have education will probably be in a role where they don't make just as much, or if anywhere close to the women that do have education. So now you have to ask, what role should they play, and what role do they play within a relationship and society as well?
Fantastic. The question for you would be, you have a practical problem with what Chiki says, or a theoretical problem? Meaning, is the idea that doesn't sound good with you, or is the practicality of applying the idea? Like, what is your...
So from a practicality standpoint, that's my point of view of where it just will not work. It's a admirable idea to give men a break, or like he said, I guess become more with the times. But I know an age old adage is some things just never change. And the man being the provider, protector, I don't think that's ever going to change in the point to where it's going to be socially acceptable for that man to be less than that. Okay, so if you have if you have the man, or a substantial number of men now that become house husbands and house dads, again, where does that put these women, and how are they going to react to the stress of added responsibility from the workforce? I'll make some specific there are some specific jobs and career fields that women just will not work, regardless of what they have as far as education and all these different things. So that's my time. I'll get back to it.
What about you, Chiki? I believe that you believe in the theoretical point of view. Do you believe in the practical point of view of applying said idea?
Yeah, I believe in the practical because it's actually happening. So the areas in which women won't work, I'm assuming that Mr. Fantastic will probably be talking about blue collar. And, sure, granted, but I think that's more of a generational issue than it is a gendered issue. Statistics are showing that overall, this younger generation, or generations Z and backward, have a cultural stigma against blue collar work, especially the women, right? I mean, and we know this is the case, and it was the case when Kevin Samuel was alive, when he would hear from women, hey, look, I want a man that makes 6 figures, but I don't want him to be a plumber. I don't want him to be a a truck driver. And I think that with that, especially in regards to men, when they hear women don't want something, they tend to acquiesce on a cultural level, which means it translates to other areas as well as economics also. So when it comes to that, I just think that I think that these things are already happening, which is why I'm on the train of might as well adapt instead of trying to fight against it, because it's already happening.
Okay.
Fantastic. Do you want to intervene?
Yeah, so there's evidence that, as I was referring to earlier, certain job fields, and those which most of them involve arduous labor, of course, but specifically let's see, electricians, construction laborers, machinists, firefighters, welders, mechanical engineers, things like that, right? And most importantly, farmers, right? That's what we're talking about here, and those things that are the foundation of a society. So women are not raising, you know what I'm saying, within enough. They're not trending upward enough in those jobs because they're simply too hard. And that's why I say, you know, as good of an idea as it may be, you're never going to get a woman to switch over to the ideology of where she wants to be a longshoreman. She wants to be the oil rig worker. She wants to be a fireman or police officer, you know what I'm saying, to fill the gap of the men that leave it in order to be house husbands. So that's the issue and problem that you have when you come to practicality, because pretty much in order to keep production at the same and not make a major deficit, and you know what I'm saying, you're going to have women fill those roles of the men that come out of the workforce to go into the home only.
Mr. Fantastic, you say that where do you what are you basing your idea on that women aren't going to fill these arduous jobs, these arduous labor jobs? Like,
Looking at the little to no rate of trending from over the years of when the jobs have been, you know what I'm saying, established. And like I said, those specifically, those jobs where you're going to talk about things again, firefighting is specifically, right? Firefighting is one of the ones where we know, hey, firefighters not only put out fires, but firefighters usually not refer, but they usually show up before paramedics even sometimes, right? So once you have the firefighters taken out of this situation to where I think is less than women make up less than 5% of firefighters. You know what I'm saying? So if you have men that makes up 95% of a job, and let's just say not even half of them, let's say 25% of them go into the house husband thing, what does that do to society from a safety standpoint? You see what I'm saying? So just using that specific occupation as an example is proof of what I'm talking about.
Is it okay if I?
Yes, you can rebuttal. The lady Chen can go afterwards and ask the question. Okay, Chen.
So, Mr. Fantastic, I understand what you're saying. That, and again, I think there is a bit of an assumption that women won't do it, and I don't think it's unfair. But the issue, not necessarily even the issue. Well, this is an issue. It's not about men or women. It's about the younger generation and its viewpoint of blue collar jobs, right? CEOs and other blue collar workers and owners have expressed that there is a lack of workers within these fields simply because people do not want to work these jobs within the younger generation, right? Most younger generation people, of course, we're speaking my generation and lower. I think is X, right? Just to. Are you
Yes.
X?
No, I'm a millennial.
Okay, millennial. All right, so people, younger millennials, and Gen Z and Alpha, they're not looking favorably upon these jobs, and there's a clear shortage and a high demand for these blue collar workers and jobs from both men and women. They're not looking for gender more than they are looking for bodies. For stonemasonry, I think it's. Let me look one more time. Here they are. Younger generations are not used to the rigor associated with construction, manufacturing, oil drilling, and other industries. The CEO expanded. And so we have a generation that has not had to work hard, has not experienced the blisters and the calluses that come along with chipping wood all day. And he's just speaking on, or this, they're using CEOs, and this is from the New York Post, to say we're lacking in this department of blue collar workers. We don't have enough people to build houses. We don't have enough stonemasons. We don't have enough anything, which is why the house rate is inflating. So if younger generation, both men and women, are saying we don't want to do these jobs, I don't think I can make it a gender thing and just say generationally, and especially on a societal level, younger people just don't see these jobs favorably because that's not the work that's fantasized about or romanticized. It's white collar work, being an engineer or a software engineer or a computer data analyst, whatever. And those are the men that most women look for. When you look at the most attractive occupations, when you Google that, it's lawyers. It is firefighters. Firefighters are in there. Police officers are in there. But then it goes right back to white collar work. So it's not as if blue collar work is the most desirable, especially on a romantic level and on a societal level, it's not even viewed favorably amongst the younger generation, which is what I'm dealing with, right? Which is why house husband is progressive and meant for the modern man, which is why I said that early in the beginning. It's for a modern problem.
Lady Chen?
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. Are you basing this, because it seems like you're basing this on women replacing men in the workforce? I was thinking that Cheeky was meaning that women are adding to the workforce as they already are there, and men, not all the men that are in the current workforce, are just going to retrieve and become house husbands. It's more of like an addition, not a replacement.
Well, no. In essence, that's exactly what he's saying. If he say he wants men to remove themselves from the workforce and stay in the home, he's literally saying that. So now you're at us, because men, like I said, represent 12% more of the workforce, right? And then the production is where it is because of the surplus of men in the workforce, and men work more hours. If you take those men out, now more women are going to have to go into the workforce to replace those men. Now this is the point where it gets to where the gender doesn't matter. It's a body thing. So it's a person for person. So if you remove men and the men go into the homes, well, ideally you're pretty much, this whole thing is about a reverse a swapping, right? A role swap. So in order, the people that would fill those roles would be the women. That's just the basic logic of the argument.
But that's pretty much subjective. It's for the men. Just because women can be housewives, it doesn't mean they all are. So just because men can be house husbands, it doesn't mean all will opt in for that role. So I'm just wondering how you're going to get the proportion levels. Why it's just like you're using a certain percentage of what the male role is in the workforce, and you're just flipping it and converting it into those men being house husbands, which that's not.
Well, that's the only thing I can do, and that's the argument that my opponent set up. He's saying that men will remove themselves from the workforce and become the people in the house, huh?
All men.
No, not all. It doesn't matter all or not. So I'm not saying all, but I'm so yeah, I'm saying all of the men that chose to participate in being house husbands, whatever, be it 1%, be it 25%, be it 75%, those men would have to be replaced. They would have to have a woman step in their stead, and it would literally be them, because now the woman they're directly attached to, because they're the house husband. You can't have two people in the house that nobody works, right? So, and through his premise, the wife would take the role, not necessarily step into the same exact career field that the man would, even though that would be what you had to do in order to maintain certain things in industries, right, in production. But even without that, just at least a body or another woman fulfilling that job that, let's say, 95% of firefighters step out, you know what I'm saying? There has to be someone to fulfill that, to keep the safety levels at the same rate.
So am I okay to respond, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, Chen, do you want to say anything before I go? Okay, go ahead, Chico.
Okay, so my rebuttal to that, I think that was a good question, is the average age of the person in the workforce. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median age of the U.S. labor workforce in 2022, and I don't think that 2 years is that much of a difference, was 42.3. So most people are 42 years old at the median age of the U.S. labor force. The conversation that I'm having is about these younger generations that both people are unemployed. When you're in college, you may have a job as a fast food worker, but you are not working at a Fortune 500 company. You're not working in construction. You're not working in these jobs to where you will be considered part of the workforce in a very substantial way. So in those moments where you're preparing to enter into the workforce, would you be your college age? Would you be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, around that time frame, maybe even 24 and 25? That is where I would consider going, hey, I'm not pulling away from the workforce because we're too young to be even considered a part of it. What I would say is, if a woman does enter into the workforce and she makes enough money and she has enough resources, especially since we're pushing as a society that women are and will be leaders in today's society, why can't a man stay and take care of the things, especially when a lot of guys within the red pill manosphere space say single father homes have the result of two parent homes. So it seems like there's a natural inclination for men to be child rearers as well. Why not support the idea of solely focusing on that and allowing women to play the role that they seem to be doing already?
Can I ask? What? Go ahead, Jochebed.
Cheeky, clarify the relevance of single father homes for me again,
So
please.
yeah, for sure. So the idea is the idea is, or it stems from single mothers by themselves produce children that are uh, irreparable to society. And the counter to that point is single father homes produce the best children for society. So if single fathers by themselves, without the support of a woman on any financial level, are able to produce better outcomes for the society in regards to their children, childbearing and raising, or not bearing, but child rearing, then why not put us in the position that we're clearly better in? Why fight against it and go, well, who's going to do this when women are actually starting to earn equal to the man in their household? They're already showing we can make just as much, if not more.
I have a.
Well, what? Okay, right.
Can I go, Jochebed, or you?
I'm not clear on the correlation, but I don't think it's my place to ask for more. I guess more. So I'll just leave it alone.
I don't
I'm
mind
not clear on the
clarifying.
What's that?
Okay, so the correlation is there seems to be there seems to be a natural inclination for men to raise children in a healthy or more in a way that society will deem beneficial. Why not allow the man to properly investigate that and continue to raise the children, because it seems as if it's natural based on the statistics that they provide? Am I making sense?
You make sense, and you've made sense. The pause that I have is men, while men take care of both the financial aspect and the nurturing aspect when he's a single parent, when he's only doing the nurturing aspect, I mean, we have no data to prove that that will be more beneficial in the house husband scenario, if you get what I
Okay,
mean. I
so
understand
yeah,
that. I
I
understand
get what
because
you're
there are
saying.
variables. So I guess that's what I was trying to figure out, like,
I
because
got you.
there are variables, the fact that, yeah, so
Yeah.
but I
So
didn't think that's not my place I think Mr.
I get what
Fenty.
you're saying. I get what you. I get what
No,
you're
no,
saying.
no, 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 no. He no. But Jochebed, I'll actually let me just pause it for me real quick and I explain it.
Mhm.
Pretty much what he's saying is the father being involved is the best possible situation in a two-parent household. So the best possible outcome, you know what I'm saying? The father will be married couple, husband and wife. Father's in the household. He's just not working. So you're going to still, at the very least, keep the same standard of success of a child being raised. So what he's saying is correct. What he said about the, you know what I'm saying, you'll still get the benefit of the two-parent household even without the father working. So he's correct about that. But I'm glad he brought that up though, because I wanted to use that as a point. Now, what happens though? What happens when the father is the sole provider? Okay, the husband is making $70,000 a year. When the wife is the sole provider, she's only making $45,000 a year. It goes back to my original point of, again, there's going to be a major reduction in production, not only from, again, a household standpoint, but a national standpoint. Women work less hours, women work more of the jobs that are, non-skilled labor, all these different things. And this came from Pew Research study in 2022. Earnings analysis limited to opposite sex marriages, including spouses 25 to 64. Okay. So, and again, my opponent, he can't use the under 18, can't use the 25 and under. I mean, under 25, because we know what the average age of getting married is, I think 30. Okay. So we're talking about marriage here. We're talking about family. His statistics may be right? But if we're talking about marriage, we must keep the statistics in the range within the, you know what I'm saying, married people are. And that starts at 30. So that's why I'm saying, even though he's right, and then the point of the median just means pretty much the middle. That's telling you that the oldest working person to the youngest working person. So yeah, it may be 42, but that doesn't eliminate or disqualify the workers under that age. That's just saying the average age from the youngest person to the oldest person is 42.
Yeah, so I wasn't saying that it doesn't count them, but the percentage of the percentage of people within that younger age being significant would be lower considering college, this time frame of college and whatnot. That's what I was getting at. So even though a 16 or 17 or even 18-year-old can work in the um same building maybe as somebody who's 42, how many, it really depends on the job, one, and then two, it depends on um how many of those younger people are accounted for the overall population. So the thing that I'm saying is, when I'm thinking of the workforce, I'm thinking of the jobs that require um some experience, some level of skill and experience, right? That we've I don't know if you guys know this, but college students are having a hard time finding a job because they're asking for at least 5 years of experience. And at that age, if you're already 22 and you add 5 years, you're 27. So I wouldn't want to account for a 16, 17, 18, or anyone under, because more than likely they don't have the experience to even be considered a part of the workforce. Or if they do, they're in the rare minority of younger people that have that experience already. Am I making sense? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So my question to Fantastic would be, are you against the idea completely? Do you agree with the idea if you are a blue collar, white collar worker, a blue collar worker? Because for what I'm understanding, it sounds like you have a problem with the blue collar,
Real
right?
quick.
Oh, go ahead. You got this?
So I have a rebuttal. He says when the wife is the sole provider, you said she makes how much?
I think it's 45,000.
Okay, so I have something from Pew Research in April 13th, 2023, where it says when the wife is the sole provider. Give me a second. I gotta scroll back down. Goodness gracious. But again, it said 88, right? So I'll read it to you really quickly because it's not
88,000.
Yes. So I'll read it to you really quick.
No, you hold on. So let me. Well, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So here we go. Here we go. Wait. The growing share of marriages in which give me a sec. I'm gonna go on mute.
Don't worry, Cheeky. I'm going to stop the.
I'm gonna let him throw me alley. So actually, what it says is, it's not when the wife is the sole provider, is when she's the primary provider. So that's when both people are working, and even still, then when the husband is the primary, right? He has a 96,000 in comparison to the wife's 88. So
Right.
wife being the primary provider, still it's proof of what I'm saying, is where there's going to be a dearth in production and financial stability to the family, because again, the way that society is set up, the way that men are set up, and the way that everything is set up, the man works more hours, the men works the more difficult jobs. And I didn't even think about this, speaking of age, men work longer than women.
True.
Men work to higher ages than women. So that's, and you brought up a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. The reason why the median age is so high now at 42, you know what I'm saying, when you're thinking about the ranges of counting, like you said, a lot of people, this is just like I said, 16 is counted from workforce, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So if you're gonna say 16 to, what number would it have to be for the median age to be 42? So that's what I'm saying. Men work longer. They work to older ages and all these different things. And like I say, the men are the life's blood of productivity. If you had a significant number of men remove themselves and put themselves into the role of being house husbands, it wouldn't just affect, again, the individual households, but again, everything across the board will be affected, because now women don't have the skills, women don't have the willingness, and that's at all ages. Even still, when we talk about the age thing, right? Be it a man or a woman at 18, they just passed a law to where what do men have? Men are automatically registered for the draft now, or at least excuse me, it hasn't been passed by the Senate.
Yeah,
and hasn't
yeah.
off, but it's passed by Congress to say, hey, we're going to automatically register all 18 to 26-year-old men, right? Are women volunteering to serve their country and protect their country and die for it if necessary? No, and that's not going to happen. And women have actually fought against that, and that further solidifies my point of where there are certain jobs that women do not want to work. They just don't, because anything
Right.
is going to be, my bad. Go ahead. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
my bad.
really.
I didn't mean to cut
So
you off. Go ahead.
sorry to interject, but you brought up the draft, but I don't really think that's relevant because since that's not a voluntary thing, I don't really think that's a good thing to apply to this argument
Well,
because
I
I
can tell
think
you why.
what's that?
I can tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so again, it matters because the military is comprised of, as of 2022, it was comprised of 17.5% women, which would equal what 82.5% men. So all of
So
it is not. I'm sorry.
But
Go
you
ahead.
brought up specifically the draft, not necessarily the military as an occupation as a whole. You brought up the draft, which is selective for men of a certain age, not women. And that is
Yeah.
not voluntary. That's not something that men or women volunteer for. It's something that it's it's a must. It's like a
enforce.
mandatory thing that they have to do. So I don't really think that's a good
Yeah, but again, like I said, that was just pointing to the fact of the matter that women have fought against that. There have been bills drafted and there's been requested for women to be registered for the selective service also, not even automatically, and it was fought by women. So, and the draft is just again to bring up the reference to military as to where that could be a possibility, because like I said, that's why I made mention and I corrected myself. It hasn't been passed yet. So even though the draft, like you said, from a set up a theory, right? How it's supposed to work. We haven't had a draft since, the 70s. So, and it still is a volunteer force. And that's why the numbers I gave came from a volunteer force of the 17.5 of women. Again, women are not, they're at the very low numbers in volunteering for the military because it involves a lot of arduous, activity being away from the family. And that's the point I'm making. So the draft
you're
is just.
you're retracting the specific statement about the draft then, right? You're
Well, I'm
just
not
talking about the
retracting.
military. You're
So no,
not?
I'm not
Okay.
retracting. It was to give context again. It was to give context to
The draft is
women.
about like, you are doing that because to show people the sentiment that is
Yeah,
around about woman, not or it's not
yeah.
about
Okay.
the action per se because he's all, like you would have no choice. It's about the sentiment that women are not going to go
Yeah,
forward and say
women
I'm
are
going to
not
take
expected.
this job. Is that
Women are not expected like the man to serve their country and give their life and so on and so forth. So if there
So
was a draft, that was the delineation I was making. This isn't something for all people 18 to 26. It's just men only, and
so?
that
Chick,
so
that further solidifies the gender roles that I'm talking about. But I'm
so
sorry. Go ahead.
just to
there's two.
clarify, Chiki, just to clarify, just 1 second. So, Mr. Fantastic, so you are against it basically because of blue collar jobs, right? White collar, you have like it seems like you don't have actually nothing against white collar job. Like, are you okay with that? The house husband situation?
No, not even a white collar jobs, because again, even though he mentioned the disparity going down some as
Mhm.
more education is involved, there's still a huge deficit in STEM, right? And we know with the
Mm.
way the world is going now, what I'm saying, everything being digital and whatnot, that's going to be more people that need to get into those fields. And I don't have the numbers. I have to look them up and see. But again, there's a huge dearth there, and we're talking overall. In some industries, it may be parity, close, but even in the white collar jobs and things like doctors and surgeons and stuff like that, and things of that nature, it's disparity also.
Go ahead, Chiki. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have
So
a
I'll go. So I think I can touch on every aspect. Can you remember your question, Jochebed? If I go.
yes. I
Okay.
just don't know
So
if it'll be relevant if I ask it
okay.
later.
Well, then ask it now. I think
Okay.
asking now. I think I can tie it all in. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think, Mr. Fantastic, you brought up the Pew study, but I think Cheeky also referenced it as well. So my question is, was the Pew study done on the general population, or was it like a sample? Like, was it like a sample from women in this type of workforce or men in this type of workforce, or was it like a
General
um,
married couples
general?
and there's general married couples.
Okay. And then my next question is, did you mention that 12% of women, there's only 12% of women in did you say the blue collar skilled workforce? Is that right? Is that what you said?
No. I said it was a 12% dearth of workers overall. So there are 12% more men in the workforce than women.
12%
overall.
more men in the work, and you did say that women work less hours
Yes.
as well. So does this the data or the point that you reference, does it take into account that the women are the child bearers and they will need time off for that? Because even if men stay home, the women would still have to take time off to
Yeah,
give.
you kind of stealing some of my points for later, but
Sorry,
I
my
mean,
bad. My bad.
That was
Sorry,
my
my
that
bad.
was my question too about
My
the
bad,
how
my
we're
bad,
going
my
to
bad.
do it with the
Okay.
kids. Yes.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So let's fall back and do you guys want to engage Cheeky? Answer that, and if Fantastic has a rebuttal, we go from there. Then I want to go to the childbearing situation, right? Like I want to talk a little bit about that when it comes to the workforce. Go ahead, you got this.
All right. So you said answer that. What in particular? Because I
No. What you had to say, because
okay,
you had to say something before Jochebed started.
Right. So there was a couple of things. One was the stat that he was referring to. I just wanted to go back because just want to say what he was saying was correct and to how, right? So in marriages where the husband is the primary provider, wives earn a median of $30,000 annually. This translates into 31% of husbands' median earnings of 96,000 in these marriages. When the wife is the primary provider, her earnings are somewhat lower. When the husband is a primary provider, about 88,000 a year. In these marriages, the husband median earning are roughly 35,000, around 40% of the wives earning. So the reason why I'm pointing this out is because if you flip it, it's not as if the disparity is that much different, right? He was saying that if a man is the sole provider, he makes almost 100,000. Was it 88,000 or 96?
70. So he
70,000.
sold by himself 70.
When he's the sole, and then when a woman or the wife is the sole provider, it's 45. I don't think that being a house husband or a housewife means you don't have any income, right? So that's why I asked for the definite. That's why I gave the definition I gave earlier, which was a woman, or replace woman with man, a woman whose main occupation is caring for her family, managing household affairs, and doing housework while her husband or partner goes out to work. So the key there is main occupation. Doesn't mean you can't have a side occupation. In fact, some housewives within the space have said, I also have a job and I am considered a housewife. It doesn't contribute all that much because $30,000, of course, what is that? Chump change. But it's still a contribution. Yeah.
Right.
You agree? So
Yeah,
that's
no.
why I asked for the definition. That main occupation is doing housework. So if you had to pick between the two, your main job is to do this, but that doesn't mean you can't bring anything at all. I don't believe in that, because the only reason why I don't believe in that is because housewives have said otherwise. I work a little bit. I don't just sit at home when the kid. I'd have other things to do. I help my husband. He pays me. I've heard that as well. So I don't want to limit house husbandry to just this thing. No, we're going to make it the same as to what a housewife would do. And if she has that capability, he should as well.
Cheeky and Fantastic, any of you have the stat about what's the percentage of housewives that right now have a part-time job or source of income? If you don't, it's fine. We can move on. It will be interesting to see of the 100% of housewives, how much of the percentage is a housewife that has an online job, that has a side hustle and all that. Nobody has the number. If not, we move on.
Yeah, I don't think that stat would be there. It'd be difficult to find. I don't have it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to just pull it up.
Sir.
I looked for it because I was trying to substantiate this. It's hard to find.
No, that's totally fine. Let me reset the room for 1 second. Okay, we have 450 people watching on all the platforms. Please, the likes are for free. Please like the video. We are 1 hour 27 minutes away. The last 30 minutes is going to be to answer the questions from the chat. So if you want to ask questions to the fellas, $20 and up, and we are going to make sure we read them, okay? The links are going to be dropped once again in the chat. Please like the chat. Please like the chat. Please like the videos, not the chat.
Brother.
So this is a question to reinforce whatever we have going on here, right? The childbearing situation. This was one of my notes too, so I'm curious if everybody has notes about that. And I'm going to ask this question to Chiki because I think he's actually his job to kind of explain to us what happens in a situation where a woman that is doing the house husband situation as a kid, she's pregnant, she's going to have to breastfeed, all that. Like, what happens on those type of situations? And do you think he's actually pragmatic to have this inversion of roles, since woman biologically have to take some time to bear a child?
I think what would happen is the man would work. Just like if a man has a job and he loses it, and for a health or injury reason, she has to find some way to work. So I think that the circumstance would be the same, if not, or not the same, but it would be exactly the same. If there's an unforeseen circumstance that happens to a man that is the main provider, she would have to work. Somebody would have to step up or step into that role. And in that event, it would be him until she's back. And then she do it again. Because that's kind of what men do too.
Fantastic.
I'm glad look at his face. I'm glad my opponent used the exact term "step into that role." It's like wow, it's like somebody said that before. And this would be the exact situation of what I'm talking about, as to where if the woman can't work, someone has to work in the household. A man is going to now have to step into the role that she has. You know what I'm saying? And the original premise is the inverse. So that's what I'm saying. Anytime that you're talking about, like, the most households are two working adults, right? In order for that, and that's going to be the best possible turnout. And you have that redundancy to where, like he said, if something happens, there is no loss. Now, a man that's been sitting down, you know what I'm saying, and doing nothing but that. And then I have to address the point of him saying, it's kind of a curve now that he's using, because even though the definition says it verbatim that way, when women talk about housewives, they're talking about working, no working at all, being at home, not having any responsibility other than being a homemaker and a nurturer. Okay, we have to break down to see what percentage he's trying to, because there are going to, even though I'm not saying it may have to be 100%, there's going to have to be a substantial amount of those husbands that want the same thing as he said the women have, right? They don't got no responsibilities other than making sure the house is clean and taking care of the kids. So in one of those situations, as to where now this man doesn't have any, you know what I'm saying, work experience, he's never worked, all right? This is a non-working man. Is he going to be able to go and fulfill and make enough money to replace someone that's a sole provider? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if he's never worked. I would agree with, because there are women who were working and then they became a housewife because the man was the sole provider or primary provider, but that doesn't mean that they didn't work at all. As a matter of fact, I can think of one that we know is Cam and JB. Cam was a college graduate, well into working, had a master's, in fact. And when she married him, then that role changed. But it doesn't mean she didn't have any work experience. So I can't say that there's no work experience or no skills at all. I would just say that the primary purpose of that person would be switched from child rearing and homemaking or whatever to now working. And that doesn't mean that there won't be maybe decreases in expenses or something, but people know how to make that work. That this is not uncommon.
Yeah, so I agree with people knowing how to make it work. Yeah, you'll find a way. But then again, it goes to my original argument as to where it's going to be a deficit and a dearth that doesn't necessarily have to be there. Why? Because again, if a man can't get pregnant, so through the wife's pregnancy, whatever their financial standing is will keep the same, stay the same, whatnot, what have you, because he don't have to take off. He don't have to be down for it's not necessarily 9 months. I'm not saying that, of course, no, very few women take off working for a whole pregnancy. But if there are difficulties in certain things, there won't be that elongated period of time of where she's out for having a baby and then recovering, and then the time that she has to bond with the baby and all these different things and so on and so forth. You just don't get that with men. That's what I'm saying. You know, and that's a biological standpoint for it.
Do
So,
men,
go
just
ahead.
out of curiosity, do men get paternity leave? I thought they did.
In Europe, in other countries that are not the United States, yes. On the United States, I think it depends on insurance and a bunch of things.
Depends on the company, right?
policy.
It's usually shorter.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not even, yeah, and it's extremely shorter. It's way shorter than anything we compare
It's
to.
around 12 weeks, ain't it? Something like that.
No,
woman?
way less than that. For men, way less than that.
And
For men, it's
maybe like
a
5
month.
weeks.
Yeah, days a month. Yes. For men, it's
No.
way.
5
They
weeks.
don't even give you that in the Navy or in the military. The military has officially, I think, bumped it up to 14 days free leave or something like that.
Oh, well, now I guess I looked up the wrong thing. All right, well, that's fine.
So my follow-up question when it comes to the challenge, and this is for Chiki too. What about extra hours, Chiki? Because there was a fantastic point, I think, before where probably the brunt of extra hours, I don't know if it was this point or not, I may be read it wrong, but the brunt of extra hours usually is tackled by men. Men are the ones that usually carry that burden. Do you think it can be transferred when the situation reverse? Do you think it's not going to be just the fact that we have to put women on jobs that are traditional, not theirs, is going to rub people some kind of way? Do you think putting them in those jobs and doing the extra hours that your men usually carry, like, do you think it would be something feasible, or you think it wouldn't work?
You said would be bored, or what was the last part?
No, if do you think he would be able to be applied and move forward, or you think like they would do the bare minimum, they would replace one for one? Like, what do you think it would happen there?
I think that if they needed to, they would do it. They would work extra hours. I think in most cases, most women don't, because they have other things to do, like taking care of the kids, right? This is where women bring the stat, hey, when both men and women work, why is it that it's recorded that women do more domestic work, even though they work relatively the same amount of hours, right? So that's when you start looking into the roles and the gender roles within a household, right? Even when women make just as much, which is current, they still are reporting that women are doing most of the domestic work and are still taking care of the kids and still doing these things while working just as much, if not just a little less than the man that they're with. So I think if you give them the opportunity to work extra hours and that's what they wanted to do, then they would do it.
Do you agree, Mr. Fantastic?
Re-ask the question.
If Chiki said if they had the chance to do extra hours, they would do it. If you agree with the premise that if woman was transferred to these jobs and they actually was doing the jobs, they will not just only do the jobs. If they had the opportunity to do the extra hours that usually men carry, that they would go ahead and do it.
Yeah, no, of course not. Obviously not. No, again, because women have the option to do it now and they don't. They don't. Women don't work. Men work more overtime. Men work more hours, and it's not just because of pregnancy. Women don't work as many hours as men. They just simply don't. Again, a woman's is not set up for, stress and difficulty and time of, what I'm saying, just dedicating to a job as much as a man is willing to do. And then on top of it, it comes back to the man having more of an expectation to be able to provide for his family, for himself, or whatnot, what have you. It's not a woman that's not making a certain amount of money isn't frowned upon as much as a man is. And especially when you add a family to the situation, the expectation is not the same. The woman actually catches a break, because if a man is fully taking care of his family, right, and the wife doesn't work, that's an admirable thing. But if a woman is fully taking care of her family and she's married to a man, he's seen as a failure, or a underperformer. And again, I think that's that's the blending of the not just the numbers, but the societal norms that even no matter what we're moving to, it's never going to get to the point of where there's equal to the majority of the people that think otherwise.
Mr.
Jochebed?
Fantastic. Where do you well, you say that currently women don't work as long hours as men, and they don't want to. Where does this information come from?
Well, the hours that I mentioned earlier, um, You know what I'm saying? Men work on average, I think is I don't want to quote right now, is like 4 more hours per week or whatnot, right? And then you add that up to, yearly, that comes into something different. And I don't think people understand, that's the whole thing too, that people think, okay, well, just weekly, but okay, that's weekly. So now multiply that times 52. You know what I'm saying? So that's that many more hours of work per year for the man in reference to the woman. And the point of how it's proven, and again, especially when you get to those more arduous jobs, they're not even working them, i.e. firefighting.
So,
But I still don't understand where this information is coming from. I know you gave the numbers, but what's your source, or why do you say, why do you provide this information? Like, where does it come from?
do you mind if I give a rebuttal, Jochebed? I think it would
Oh,
answer
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
both
ahead.
yours and then also rebuttal his, right? So,
Sure. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
men and women generally work different hours, with men working more hours than women on average. Paid hours in 2022, men worked about 3 hours more per week than women at a job on average. 2023 USA Today survey found that full-time men worked an average of 8.3 hours per day, while women worked 7.8 hours. Um, a 2023 UN's International Labor Organization report found that women worked about 7 paid hours per week less than men in 2022. The part that I'm speaking about and the part that I think matters is the unpaid work, right? Women also do more unpaid household and care work than men, which can limit their time for paid work. For example, in families with an annual income of at least 100,000, women spend 5.7 hours per day doing unpaid work compared to 3 hours for men. So this kind of goes back to the what I was saying is, hey, maybe if they have more time, they would do more hours in this degree, but they understand somebody's got to take care of the household items and chores and things like that, and that they seem to take that role. I'm not saying that they can't work and won't work more hours within a actual job that's tracked and measured. I'm just saying maybe the opportunity isn't there, and that's something that we can find out, especially because this idea of this progressive idea of house husbands has never been tried before in mass or been accepted. So I'm pushing to see what will happen, because a lot of these things are unprecedented. We've never seen it before. We've never seen women make just as much as men on average, but that is happening right now.
Okay.
Oh, can you repeat that last statement?
We've never seen women make just about as much as men on average.
Okay, just about. Okay, I thought you said more. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's
So
not the same. It's not.
I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify. That's why I want to make sure. Cool.
Jacob. Oh, you guys want to like?
Yeah, no, I actually wanted to counter that.
Go ahead.
So again, the issue and the problem is when we look at the numbers, and you accepted this because you use the same quotes, right? When the woman is the sole provider, she makes less money. So when women are already in a position of doing this, right now, excuse me, yeah, way less money. So she's a sole provider, okay? She's making literally what's that, $35,000 less than what the man is making. Okay. When she's the primary provider, she's making $8,000 less than the man is making. And you said something earlier. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't just throw away $8,000 if somebody tried to hand it to you. $8,000 is not chump change, especially not in a economy where we're at 7% inflation and people are living paycheck to paycheck and all these different things. I'm pretty sure everyone would accept $8,000.
Okay, so let me clarify real quick. When I said that, I was saying the comparison, right? Because the idea of you bringing up, hey, when a man makes as much, she only making 30,000. That's what you said. She's only making 30,000. That statement alone is very dismissive of what she's bringing to the table. So I did it in return, which is, well, if a woman is making is the primary, she's making 88. So what he's bringing is about 32. That's chump change, because and vice versa, you did the same thing. I'm only matching that.
I think mine is more accurate because that's almost a 50% decline in finances. I think most people, we're just talking about whatever the numbers was, and you lost 45% of your money. A person is bringing 45% to the table compared to what you have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you say the same thing.
But the difference wasn't that high. It was 88,000 to a woman.
No. Yeah. So no, in that. So where the man is making more than the woman, right? But the man also, another big part you left out is that the man also made more money than when the wife did too. You know what I'm saying? So when the wife was a primary provider, the husband still made $5,000 more than when the wife was. and that's what you're not considering also in the math.
Well, I am considering that, and the consideration comes from a couple of things. One, it does matter about the choice of profession. That does matter, yes. Two, and it does matter also about depending on whether or not it's a salary job or if it's an hourly paid job. Again, in these conversations, we're not taking in the fact that the woman's role, even as a worker within the home, she's still doing more work outside of the home. So that means that she's going to have to take more time away from work in order to do the things that you're not doing
inside of the home. You mean
you're inside the home? Yeah, I said
You mean-
okay. I said outside, but I'm inside, like in the
Okay.
home. Yeah. So there's two things. Yes, granted, there is also the career choice. Like if a woman is a nurse, they make decent money, but if she is a female engineer, they make more money. It's in the STEM field, like you were saying, and there's a lack of women within that field. But there's also I've accounted to that, but I cut you off, so I'll let you finish.
No, I was done for making that
Oh,
point.
okay, my
so-
bad. So
Okay.
with the STEM situation, again, we're living in a society and a culture where they're trying to right the wrongs of prejudice against women and things like that. I don't know if you remember, but there was a article that was written a couple years ago where men were lying about their gender identity to attend a text conference that was meant for women because they simply couldn't get in because of what the United States in its progressive thinking and ideology has led to, which is looking for women to hire, looking for them to take them those STEM fields and things like that, which in essence kind of neglects cisgendered men, right? Because they didn't have an issue with transgender, which is the reason why I specified cisgender in the first place. They didn't mind non-binary, they didn't mind gay, they didn't mind that. The conference was meant for women and non-binary men, and the men who lied about their gender identity were cisgender men because they were just looking for an opportunity. And I don't think that is going to stop anytime soon. I think that's going to continue, which is why I say, hey, if they're in that role to make more money, then why not let us play a role that's different than what is quote unquote traditional?
Again, this last thing I'm gonna close out. The proof is already there though, and can I Google myself so people can see what I'm talking about? Can I
Yes,
just call
sir.
Google it for me?
Do you want to go use the Google it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brother.
That's a crazy soundboard.
Damn. So let's Google it. Go ahead, Fantastic, and narrate what we have in the screen.
All right, cool. So as you guys can see here, let me scroll up a little bit so you guys can see. All right. In egalitarian marriages, wives and husbands tend to earn about 60K each. Okay. So you have both people working. All right. You have even then the husband is still out earning. Now the 2000, I can accept you saying that being chump change or whatnot, what have you. Okay. But look at all of the other numbers. This right here proves my point. The wife is the sole provider. Okay. She's the only person making money. Right. All right, and that's what when and right here the husband is the sole provider. The majority of women, when you say housewife, she is not expecting any type of financial responsibility, working responsibility outside of being a homemaker, outside of doing the unpaid work that Cheeky is referring to. When he says unpaid work, he's talking about cleaning up the bathroom, fixing dinner, all those different things. The gender roles exactly that women even maintain within this progressive society. So that's why I'm saying the progressivism is there ideologically, but even with it doing that, the reason why these things don't work is because the woman now has the double stresses of being a provider, and she still has to be the nurturer and homemaker for the majority of the situation of the family structure. When you have again almost double the money, well, not almost double, because almost double would be 90K. So you have more than 50% would be what 20 something. So yeah, so almost a 50% increase, right? So we'll say 45 or 40. So a 40% increase, or I'm sorry, a 40% decrease when the man is the only person working. That proves my point. You can't keep giving women a bailout and saying, oh, if they had the opportunity, they do work more hours, they get better jobs. No, this right here proves the point. When the woman is the only person making the money, the family suffers the most, be it job experience, be it length of hours work, be it whatever the factors may be. That right there still mans my argument and proves exactly what I'm saying about a woman working is just not the same as a man from a productivity standpoint or financial gain standpoint.
Can you go back to the study? I'm sorry. So sorry. So can you go back?
Okay, no problem. And Chick, if you want to rebuttal, let me know. I have a question for Mr. Fantastic after this.
Go to the top, please.
Hold on, sorry.
Spend more time unpaid work and leisure than lifestyle. Where'd you have homes? Okay, go down. Sole provider, wife primary provider, husband primary provider. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
We are 1 hour in, by the way, friends. And if you guys want to activate the Shadow Realm, you know, $100. And people can become a little bit spicy, but not all the way, okay? Not all.
I bring your death.
Cheeky, do you want to rebut what he said, what Mr. Fantastic said, or can I ask a question? You're muted.
Yeah, no, I had a rebuttal to that. So
go ahead. You got this.
The rebuttal to that is, yes, I understand that on average, wives make less money than their husbands, but the things that I'm talking about is I'm using foresight. I'm using some of the things that need to be talked about, which are talked about, which is education in man, right? The average male that doesn't have an education overall is just going to make less money. The average woman that has an education is going to make more money. If more men are continuing to decline from going to any forms of colleges and they're not entering into the blue collar workforce or any of those things, which they are not statistically, then what do you think will happen if women continue to get college degrees and continue to get more opportunities based off that alone? I'm not saying at the current time that all women are making more than men. My statement was that they're already that on average, women are contributing just about as much as men within their household. And I can foresee this going beyond simply due to just one factor is education. If we didn't even take a look at any other thing else. So these are the things that I'm talking about. I see this coming. I'm not saying it's here now. And in some instances, it is here now, but I'm not saying that's the majority. My idea is we need to go ahead and accept this could be a possibility. And if it is a possibility, it should be. It should be. Men should be able to do these things, and they should be able to do it because men offer more to society and relationships than just being in this traditional role that causes a lot of mental health issues, especially within the 2020 during that beer bug incident. We saw the effect that it had when men weren't able to do the things that they thought they needed to do. We see the effects that it has when men aren't able to do the things that is quote unquote traditional. It has an effect on mental health. And as much as we would like to say men are capable and are able to handle all of this stress, the self-deletion rate for Black men specifically is saying otherwise. Self-deletion rate for Hispanic men specifically is saying otherwise. There's so many things pointing to we're not what we think we are. So let's either share the load or change the role. And I think we should do that.
So my question to Mr. Fantastic would be, why do you disagree with Cheeky that woman will not be able to replace? Like, what is the like, do you have any?
Well, the trending of certain occupations, and even in the STEM fields that he's talking about, women are not progressing fast enough to replace the men to step out of those roles. And he's correct about when the made the college numbers declining or whatever for men, but still those men are still out earning women. Men are still out earning women overall, despite having less education, and it's been that way. I don't want to say forever, but for a substantial amount of time, at least 20 years running. One of the biggest things they use is, black women are more educated, more black women go to college. All races of women, all races of women go to college more than their men. Asian, white, black, Hispanic, more women go to higher education than men do, but yet and still men still earn more than the women. So that's why I'm saying there's too much to try and put into that when we've seen again that whole thing still reign true. Just because you have a college degree, and then another big thing too, now a lot of people are shifting away from these college degrees, and a lot of brothers are getting certificates, and a lot of brothers are getting certifications, and the certifications or certificates save a whole lot more money. And I'm glad we having this conversation. I didn't even think about this. So a man now that can get into the IT field from a 6-week or 2-month program certification, not only is he now in the workforce a whole lot earlier, and that's one of the things that my opponent surprisingly didn't bring up. I think he might have purposely left out. Gen Z males are tracking a whole lot better when it comes to making higher earnings earlier, because they are getting into these non quote unquote blue collar fields and things like that, and they're skipping college and they're choosing the faster route of either trade school or certifications and things like that, especially in the IT realm.
You want to rebuttal, Cheeky?
Yeah, so the rebuttal that I have is from the New York Post that I was reading, saying that the younger generation, Gen Z, is not fulfilling that blue collar, because that's where you would put the category of certification. You're not talking about tech certifications, are you?
I specifically said tech, and I specifically said
Okay, so if you're saying the thing about tech certifications is just the thing about those things is, even with that being the case, there's still a preference for a 4-year degree. Not to say that those certifications don't play a part into getting a position or being in a position to get a job. Regardless of those things, how many people are in tech, just generally speaking? It's not that many. It's not that many people in tech. It's not that many people within that field, generally speaking. It's not a field that everybody's in. It's a select field, and people are increasingly getting into it due to the money, but that includes women as well. And that means while they are doing those things, both men and women, they do have an agenda to make sure that they even it out. So even with the certifications and things like that, men aren't the only ones that are getting them. Women are as well. They may be at a lower level or lower number, but they're still there. So when you account for that as well, and when you look for what they're looking for, because they do have not a quota, but they have an incentive to diversify their company, they're going to pick somebody that is female, most likely, because it's already been shown to be the case. And if you want to Google that, I don't mind doing that. I have the article pulled up here. But there was the thing that also happened. You were saying the main thing about black women, right? In this article, it says black wives are significantly more likely than wives from other racial or ethnic groups to be the breadwinner in their marriage. This was also the case in 1972. Today, roughly 1 in 4 black wives out earn their husbands. And if we know the disparity between black women's education and black men's, there's a correlation there.
I want a clarifying question, right? Would be out earning meaning that man would stay at home and do the gender like roles, because you can say the out earning part, of course, but it sounds like it's 2 people working and 1 person is out earning more than the other, right? How does that correlate to a situation where the woman is clearly the breadwinner and the man is
because in the natural process of just being in a relationship or a marriage, you have kids. So somebody, if it's capable and if willing, somebody would be the primary caregiver or taking primary caregiver of those children. We're so used to saying, oh, there's a child, a woman will do it, that women are now saying, hey, if there is a child, why not you do it? that has been a more increasing question amongst younger women, as well as women saying they don't want children because they prefer a career over children. So this idea of women, one, having to be the ones to take care of kids, they're fighting against it. And one, some of them are saying they don't want kids. They're so against the idea of just being in this traditional role that the only natural inclination is to go, well, somebody's got to do it. Why not the man? Why can't a man do it? Is the question.
You want to rebut, Mr. Fantastic? If not, I have another question for y'all.
Yeah, so actually, I wanted to rebut something he was
Right.
saying about the requirement of college degrees. This is an article from Fox News. U.S. companies increasingly eliminate college degrees as a requirement amid out of control school costs. One report projected 1.4 million jobs could be open for those without degrees within the next 5 years. This article was published October 16, 2023. And it goes on to state to begin, American businesses are increasingly eliminating college degrees as part of their requirement for corporate roles. They specifically said corporate roles. Okay, so that don't mean just ground workers, grunts, and all these different things. We're talking managerial up to almost anything other than CEO, which is part of a wider trend in the U.S. job market that is de-emphasizing the value of a 4-year diploma, according to experts. And when they say 4-year diploma, they're talking about a college degree. Okay, American companies like Walmart, IBM, Accenture, Bank of America, Google have announced plans to reduce the number of jobs that require college degrees. Okay, two of those, and one I don't see where it was earlier. It stated Amazon in a similar article, but it's not here, so I won't count that. But still, when you're talking Google, IBM, Accenture, those type of companies, Fortune 500 companies that are extremely valuable, and they're eliminating 4-year degrees for, like I said, a lot of the cases, the certificates, and the person just being able to do the work without the college debt. That further solidifies my point, what I made earlier. My bad, I was done. I was trying to. I don't want to take too much time because
It's totally fine. GQ, you want to rebuttal? Anybody want to ask something? If not, I'm going to reinforce the question that I did before. What, GQ?
Yeah. So the main thing he was talking about was certificates in tech, and I was speaking to that specifically, right? And this is something that I'm finding, while some tech companies still require college degrees for all positions, others are increasingly higher based on skill rather than degrees alone, right? According to the 2022 survey, 47% of tech employers say skill training credentials are most important for entry-level jobs, while 26% say college degrees are impactful. However, some tech leaders are hiring managers say that many IT positions rely on technical skill, not a degree, and that these skills can be developed in other ways. For example, some companies are hiring employees without a college degree and fast-tracking IT training programs known as coding boot camps can prepare people for high-level tech jobs in a few months. Now, the rebuttal to this, when I click it, however, some companies may prefer and require bachelor's or advanced degrees for senior and management level roles. The main portion, especially when it comes to the certificates, is that sure, it may be good for entry level, but the issue that we're having, let me not say we, I'm a janitor. The issue that tech tends to have is the companies laying off people in entry level, and the only way to progress is if you do have a 4-year degree. That's where the issue comes, right? You can be in a boot camp for 6 weeks, which is very typical, which is something that's trendy and cool to do. People do the Google certificate, UI, XI design. But when it comes to getting to the next level where you start becoming a president or vice president or within a company or the tech lead, they're requiring more. And that's the barrier of entry. So yes, you can have a certificate and those things may exist. But most companies, just from my understanding, and I don't have any experience, I'm a janitor, they're going to be looking for a college degree.
If you have no rebuttal, I would like to ask a question, unless
you are going to change it. You are going to change it, or you're going to.
I'm going to change it.
So give me a second. I still don't understand. And this is for Mr. Fantastic again. Actually, it's for Chicky. Why do you believe that women can replace a man, like a one-on-one replacement, right? Let's make a welder, a garbage disposal man. Like, do you believe that there are some professions that are not going to be able to have this type of dynamic at all, or do you think women can actually replace a bunch of these professions, especially the ones that are a little bit harsh on the body, as a one-to-one replacement?
Yeah, so I don't think women can replace a man on one-to-one replacement and harsher things because most men can't even do those jobs themselves. I think we tend to say men and not put a qualification on what type of man or the type of bodies that men have as well. Every man is not strong. Every man is not capable of lifting 50,000 pounds of brick and sod and whatnot, right? So yes, while there may be jobs specific to men, those jobs that are specific to men or maybe better suited for men, I expect men to continue to do, because I don't expect every man to be a house husband or every woman to, because every woman can be a housewife. Like, so I'm using the same logic. If every woman can be a housewife, I don't think every man can be a housewife. My thing is, why don't we push for social acceptance of a house husband? This has been the problem that I've had from the very beginning. I'm not saying every man can do it, because every woman can't be that thing. So if there is an opportunity, why not advocate and support it and push for it and go, hey, look, I understand the role of men can be a little bit more expansive than just this.
Just to clarify, you said that you believe that women can replace men one-to-one in certain positions, right? Because they are not doing it already. Is that your opinion, or?
I think in a majority of things that men do within a corporate world, those settings, yes. Well, yes. I think a woman can be in the office just like a man can be in the office, because they're doing it now. Now, when we start talking about the military, mind you, only 1% of the population joins the military. So it's already a small percentage of men that do it as is. My expectation isn't that another percentage of women can fully, replace them one-to-one. But then you look at the small percentage of men that's already in the military, and then you start to realize, hey, bringing up the military for 1% of the population is like bringing up gays when it comes to black males salary median. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I would like to counter that directly.
Go ahead, and Jochebed, then you. What happened? Jochebed, then you can flip it to the question. I just wanted clarity on this one. Okay, go ahead, fantastic. You got this.
So, although the military only represents 1% of the population, the complete and total population is, and it's actually think it's more than that, but I'll just go with the 1%, is over 300 million people. So, of course, for the total, it's a small amount. But millions of people, 3 million people doing anything, I don't think you would consider that small. And then most importantly, we're talking about the military here. So again, the importance of the military, especially United States of America, that backs the dollar, the reserve currency of the world, saying that somehow you would risk that by making a deficit, and what you said yourself already is a small amount overall. Now you're going to remove a substantial number of men and allow them to sit out and women to step in that role. Yeah, that's
so just... Mr. Fantastic. Now, because we both been in the military, how many of these men doing some hard working ass jobs where they just grueling it? How many? What's the percentage of men doing that?
Well, again, it's not about the hard, grueling working job. It's just the fact the hours. You know this. The hours.
Okay, so again, the question is, I think a woman can sit at a desk for 12 hours a day? Because I've seen it during deployments. Right?
She can sit at a desk. She can sit at a desk on a base, but can she sit at a desk on a deployment?
Well, I just said deploy. Yeah.
Oh, well, that don't work. I'm in the Navy, brothers. They get
I'm in the Air Force, baby. We not on
by month 4, brother. Brother, they trying to get pregnant by month number 4 so they can be out by 6. But hey,
look, man. Okay, but the overall point is, what I'm saying is, even within the 1% of the population, now you have to think about the percentage of jobs that are actually strenuous in the military, which is not that many. Every time you see somebody in a uniform, does not mean they've been shot at. Does not mean that they even know how to fix a car or engine. Does not mean they know how to fight. Because trust me, we don't fight them and they don't know how to do it. So what I'm telling you is, just because somebody's in the military doesn't mean that a woman can't join and be better suited for it, or as if there is no position to where women can do it. When it comes to nurses, that is a female dominated field outside of the military. And guess what it is in the military? It's female dominated still. So what I'm saying is when we start accounting for things that I think women can replace men to 1-to-1, it doesn't make that big of a difference. We just need to learn how to accept that and start saying, hey, men's roles within society and relationships need to be a little more expansive and not traditional, because it's literally killing us.
All
Jochebed.
right. Yes. So
And by the way, before you go, Jochebed, we are 43 minutes in. Okay, there's 474 people watching. Please like the video. I would appreciate it, and follow everybody on social media. I will drop their link soon. In 20 minutes, we are going to start to ask the fan questions. So if you have any question, $20 and up, and we are going to ask the question. In the end of the show, we are going to read every single one of your super chats. So once again, thank you for your support. Go ahead, Jochebed. You got it. Thank you very much.
So I understand how house husbands will affect, or I understand you guys are arguing for how this affects society and how it affects us financially, how it affects the workforce. But I would like to understand what is the impact, excuse me, on the family and child rearing and children. So I know one is for, and I know one is against house husband. Can you guys talk about that, please?
Yeah. So the sad part about it is, like as I stated before, that puts extra stress on the situation. And when a woman makes more than the man, there's 50% more chance of there being a divorce. Okay. So you know what I'm saying, 50% more of a chance to be divorced when the woman is the breadwinner versus the man. And I'll just make that point and concede my time for this point.
Right, Cheeky.
Jochebed, did you want to say something?
Can you repeat that, Mr. Fantastic? You said that when a woman makes more, there's a 50% chance of is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yes, a woman now earning her husband could even doom a marriage, as a researcher's report increases the likelihood of divorce by 50%.
But is that when both are earning, or is that when the man is not earning any money?
It will be either or. It would account for both. So if the woman is the sole provider or the woman is the primary breadwinner, it says specifically the woman earning more than the man. So whether the man works or not, if she earns more money than him, it's 50% more chance of getting divorced.
50% more chance. I thought that had to do with education. It's not about education. It's about the money. Okay.
It may be something concerning education, but it's specifically a stat for marriage. For earnings also.
Okay.
So the education does play a factor into that increase as well. Not specific to his data, but education does matter. You're not wrong in thinking it, because it does matter.
Okay.
But so my response is typically this is the response that I'm answering questions to a lot of the complaints that I hear. So the first thing is one of the most quoted stats popularized by Kevin Samuels is that women divorce at a 70% rate, leaving men to deal with the consequences of divorce, right? And that's just the first thing off the bat. So even if that's the case, if most women are planning to leave or most women initiate and start their divorce, then my question is, what does it matter if she makes more or not? Because you're going to get divorced. So if divorce is on the table, why does it matter if she makes more or not? Especially since that's the ideology that is most common amongst men that I hear within the space, right? So that's my first thing. Second thing is, considering that 70% of men were making just as much, if not more, than their wives in 2015, most men believe that they have the most financial risk to marriage and divorce. The first thing we hear about when it comes to marriage and men is she's taking half. She's going to be taking my money. She's going to take this. I make more. She's going to take more. That's the common consensus. So the question is, well, how about you don't make as much, or she makes more? What happens if you take her stuff? It's a logical question, and it's something that can be answered. You may not agree with the ethics of it. You may not think that it's manly or masculine. You may think on a societal level it's wrong, but I don't care. I'm dealing with the basics of the logic. So if 70%, if we switch the role on that, and we already agree that not agree. So we already hear that people divorce at a 50% rate. Why does it matter if there's a 50% more increase when it's already halfway through? We're not even sure we're going to last anyway. So you make more money.
Okay. So
Go ahead, fantastic.
yeah, so he just proved one point. You just answered your own question. So it's math. It's simple mathematics. If there's already a 50% chance, right? And you add another 50% to that now that 50% chance just turned into 75% chance. So that means now you literally doubled the chance. Well, I'm saying increased it by half the chance of it's not making. So that's what you call going into a statistical failure, like almost guaranteed. Anything that's
But
over 75%, pretty much you're talking about that is pretty much a gonna happen situation. So that's
right,
the
so
problem.
so the
We're talking
same so the,
about numbers. Go ahead.
so the same thing would apply if it's a failing situation. If it's a traditional and it's a failing, if it's a house husband, what does it matter?
Yeah, but percentages matter. So again, I'm
Okay,
pretty
but
sure, like you said, so we
yeah,
got to
right.
apply the same logic, right? So
Okay, go ahead.
again, let's just use an analogy, right? If I told you it was a 10% chance of you dying if you stepped out of the house today, you going outside?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But if I told you it was a 75% chance of you dying today, are you going outside?
That's not comparable. If you told me it was a 50% chance of me dying, am I going outside? I'm gonna say no. If you tell me it's a 75% chance of me dying, if I go outside, I'm gonna say no.
Hell
So,
no. So let's knock it down. So that's what I'm saying though. If
but
you
the
more
problem
than
is, the issue
go
is
ahead.
you presented a percentage that was very significantly different, which is 10%
Okay,
in
so we
comparison
can
to
so we can go
75.
from 30. So 30 to 60 then, because that's
No, how
that's
about 30 to 35?
huh? But that wouldn't be comparable with the numbers because then you're doubling, not doubling where it's 50%. So that would be half onto it. So now you're jumping from 30% to 45%, which is close to half. Or if you're already at 40%, now you're jumping from 40% under half to over half at 60. So
So
you
if I'm
have to keep it at the
so if I'm
50% rate that we're talking about.
okay, so if I'm at
So
50, if I'm at 50 and I'm
yeah,
getting ready, and you're saying there's a percentage of it being a little over 50 or a
no,
lot
it would be
over 50,
75.
whichever
So
one.
we're kind of getting into the weeds of things, and it's becoming less and less clear as to what you guys are saying. And I do understand both of your stance on the numbers for divorce and how it affects the family that way, or breaking up the family that way. How does it impact child rearing and the outcome of children? How would it impact if you implement house husband 24? How does that impact children? And if
Well,
you don't, because Mr.
you
Fantastic,
increase
you
you
disagree.
no, no, yeah, you increase the chances of there being a broken home or a separation of the father from the mother by 50%. That's what it's telling you. When the woman earns more
Right,
money,
right.
that
I understood that point. I understand the negative of it. So I
mhm,
wanted to know, is there any positives to house
Yeah,
no,
husband
yeah,
that'll be the
so the
negative.
or the
right. So
or
the
Mr.
positive would
Fantastic,
be
are you saying that there's no positive and it's only going to end in divorce? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, it's no, I'm not saying only, but I'm saying at a
Mhm.
75% rate, or whatever. Oh, and I think it's actually higher. I don't know what it is, the current divorce rate is, but if you're going to increase that current number by somewhere upwards of 20+%, and it's going to be definitely over half, that's going to be quite detrimental. If you had numbers that were under half chances of things making it, and now you add half of it to it, and you're over 50%, there's more than half a chance of something failing. Most people wouldn't invest in that situation.
So you're saying the marriage will fail. Cheeky, do you have a are you saying that the number increased for the marriage failing?
Yes.
Cheeky, do you have what is your stance on how it impacts the children in child rearing?
yeah, you have a more involved father, right, in the home. Like, and we've already, and what is typically said is when a man or child has a father that is more involved, the children do better. So instantly you have a more involved father. Instantly you have, if there is a divorce, you're the primary caretaker of that child. So you don't have the issue of running into single mother stats or single mother homes, which will ultimately happen if you get a divorce and she's the primary caregiver, then the kids are going with her. So instead of producing more of an issue of something that is more likely to happen according to their stats, then why not be put in a better position where if you do get a divorce, at least you'll get the children, at least you'll get the financial benefit instead of being the ones that it's paying it out. You'll get all of the things that's required why try to live in a traditional role when we've seen how that works already and it doesn't work that well?
And my rebuttal to that would be now again, he's being assumptive and thinking that the family law and family court systems are going to track with the progressiveness. No, there are situations as to where the mother is still going to receive custody for a reason. It's more of a gender based thing. It's more of a gender, and this is proven to be gender based than money making based or financially based. So just
So
because now you have the men that maybe they aren't losing money or they aren't having to pay anything out, but the mother is still going to be the person with the children according to the current state of the family court system.
so
That's
that
not you have to have evidence of that trending in the opposite direction substantially to say just simply because one of the things, and I can tell you this from anecdotal experience and other men will agree with me, one of the biggest downfalls of a father is a lack of financial stability. So if the father does not have the capabilities of providing for himself and providing for his children, that will be something that they use against him in receiving custody or being named a custodial parent. So that, and this isn't a shot or anything. It's just giving some context, and a lot of men would agree with me, and the numbers agree with me as to where even when the man is and we've seen this, when the man is in a better financial positioning, he doesn't automatically get the children. So that's what I'm saying, is where you can't just, what I'm saying, even though he's already in the better position, it still trends to the mother in either situation. Whether the mom makes more money or she makes less money, women have upwards of, I want to say 80+%, it's like 87% of custody of kids now.
and again, that would go towards the question, because the laws are amoral, right? If you're saying that the law says if there is a divorce, the woman gets the children, that is not what the law says. In fact, the law, or based off of the statistics, father who fight for custody often win, but full custody is still more common for mothers, right? Custody win rates in one study, 92% of fathers who aggressively fought for custody won full or joint custody, while mothers only won 7% of the time. Another study found that 94% of fathers who sought custody won sole or joint custody 30 years ago. Absent fathers are especially likely. Abusive fathers, there we go. Yeah, abusive fathers are especially likely to win, with 72 winning their custody cases.
Huh?
I think
That don't
that's
make
wrong.
sense. How would an abusive father win in a custody case?
I don't know. I think I'm misreading it.
Take your time. Don't worry about it. Take your time.
But either way, what I'm saying is, when men tend to fight for their child or fight for a custody case, as the perspective would be that there's a natural bias against men, we're starting to find out, and I'm not the only person that said that if you are the primary caregiver as the man within the court case, you can and will win at a high percentage rate, because the laws are amoral. They're not gender specific. They're role specific.
Okay. Well, first, I didn't say that you would win. I said it's more likely to, and that's how it trends, and that's how it works. When you say win does not equal sole custody or being named the custodial parent. It just means you have an agreement between you, the other party, and the state for you to be allowed time with your child. That's the most important context of that. So even if it may be 90 something percent that you're speaking of, they're simply saying that those fathers are not being denied time with their children. And even more so, like you say, when you're looking at these things, it's going to be more, that's going to be more towards divorce numbers. And I don't know if I can't answer the question, but I would say that would be higher in marriages, to where pretty much without there being some form of physical abuse or abusive history, where it's pretty much guaranteed. Outside of that, though, is going to be another big issue as to where, again, you have, what I'm saying, children that not had in a marriage. Now those numbers are different. So that's why I say, I know we're not talking about out of wedlock situations, but I'm only referencing that to talk about how the numbers are skewed. You know what I'm saying? Because you pretty much, you're guaranteed, if you're in a divorce, to end up with joint custody. That's what they're quote unquote calling a win.
Okay,
We
so
are
that, oh,
we are 5 minutes away from answering the questions. Valerie tried to activate the Shadow Realm, but Valerie, the Shadow Realm is $100, not 50, so we need more 50 to activate the Shadow Realm. Okay, and we are going to include the Shadow Realm into the like this last 25 minutes, okay? Because I don't think this point of contention you guys are not going to do a lot. So for you guys to not be more 50 minutes, we're going to include it on these 35 minutes, okay? If it's activated. Go ahead, Chick, you got this.
Yeah. So again, I think I understand why you brought non-married, but again, I think the whole premise was married. And again, the thing that I think matters is the amount of time that a man is able to spend with his child. The amount of time that a man has custody of his children matters a lot, and men have very much so expressed that. And you have a better chance if you are the primary caregiver, and they consider that when they consider what's best for the child. At least from what I've looked up and what lawyers have said, and from other laws, there's no gender law. There's who's the best, who's more involved, who's taken care of. So that's what I've looked up. If you're using something else or an experience, then I can understand you using that.
Older thoughts, Mr. Fantastic, Valerie, activated the Shadow Realm. Once again, we're not going to add 20 minutes. We're going to do 20 minutes inside of the 33 minutes that you already have. So the Shadow Realm has been activated. Thank you very much, Valerie. I appreciate it.
I bring your death.
And by the way, friends, 666 and 66 cents. So I think there's the demon or the devil number. I don't know what's going on here, but we're going to continue. Go ahead, Chick, if you have something to say. And I have, sorry, it was Mr. Fantastic. And then on the 30-minute mark, I have a couple of questions, and then we go to the $20 questions. We have 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, so again, no, it's not my anecdotal experience or whatnot. And you're kind of using anecdotal experience. You say you mentioned lawyers you spoke to and things like that, and I'm telling you from not only the lawyers I spoke to, but me.
I didn't speak to, no, I didn't say I didn't speak to any lawyers. I'm just saying what appears online. Like,
okay, cool. So okay, referencing to that.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't speak to no lawyers.
I would try that statement. So I misinterpreted. So again, this is what I'm saying, right? And it's another interesting thing too. I'm I'm glad we brought up. We need to discuss this. So I have a question. So you say marriage, you're only talking about state sanctioned marriage?
Like, you mean like going to the courthouse, stuff like that?
Well, either courthouse or church or whatever, like a marriage license. You're talking about a marriage under a marriage license.
Where you're able to put married and not single on your taxes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you're talking marriage license only. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So again, in those situations, well,
let me can we agree that house husbands, like, I would mean within the confines.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to. It is Shadow Realm though, so I don't really. I like you, but you forget about comment.
Bro, you good, dog. Do what you gotta do, man. It's for the show.
So you're forgetting about common law marriage, and you're forgetting about a lot of things in the family court system. And like I said, this is my wheelhouse because I've had to represent myself in a family court case, in both custody and child support situations. So the lot of the misunderstanding of or misinterpretations that people have is the language that's used within it. Like I said, most importantly, we focus on the winning. Okay, winning simply means that you were giving any amount of time with your children, usually unsupervised. Okay, even if it's supervised, maybe, but that's why I have to mention it for context, because some people consider that may be considered a win, it may not be. But of course, and when you're talking in a marriage, unless there's, and I think that's what you were stumbling over when you were saying, the only time that it's going to be a decrease in that or you're affected is if you have a history of domestic violence within the family against your spouse or against the children themselves. So when you say win, It sounds good at a 90-something% rate, but all that means is simply like, okay, you get to see your kids. That doesn't give you any context of how much time. It could be only weekends. It could be as much as every other day, but it could be as much as only one day a week or one day a month or a couple of days a month. All those things have to be considered because quite often people don't live get divorced and stay within the same area, right? If you live an hour away or you live states away, it's impossible for you to have that thing. So that's why I say the 90% is sounds good, but contextually you know what I mean, it has to be so many other parameters
So,
given to it in order to have it considered.
so being a primary or sole care or the majority of the time, does that not play a fact?
No, like you said yourself, both parties are in a divorce. Both parties are awarded custody or some type of time sharing or time with the children at a 90-something% rate. So no, that's what I'm telling you. And that doesn't guarantee you. That doesn't guarantee you just because you're the primary sole provider that you're gonna have the child if you're a man. That's why, because like you say, in the situations, in the cases where the men are already living a house husband's lifestyle, right, or they have more time with the children, the woman is still given an edge, and the numbers show that. That's what I'm saying. It's not my speculation. The sheer difference in numbers of women being custodial parents, not just having custody agreements, but being custodial parents, proves the point of what I'm talking about, and that's both in and outside of marriages.
Okay, so I kind of went out a little bit. Can you just are you saying being a primary caregiver doesn't matter?
For a man, no. And
Okay,
the
for a
numbers
man.
show.
Okay, so okay, got you. That's and can is there anything? Can I Google that? Like I just want to see.
Yes,
it.
yeah, you have a Google option, and then we can go and we go back to the questions. We have 30 minutes in, so go ahead, Cheeky. Google it. I'm going to stop the clock, and while you are at it, okay, while you're at it, let me promote Friday fight. We have somebody that is ready for war.
Yeah, I heard old City Boy podcast and called out old country Georgia boy named E. the Man Williams. Well, we gonna see if he ready to go down yonder out there in them woods. Cause what I know for a fact is that Jungle City ain't nothing on those old country roads that I'm about to take him down in these debates. So I'm looking forward to this debate, and I'ma say let the best man win. I heard he was trying to tip the scale. But when you get out there in them woods, out there with them ducks in them ponds and in the swamp of the deep, deep, dirty South, there's nothing can save you. So I hope my boy keep the intellectual standard that it takes to be successful in a debate. Can't wait to see your little podcast. I'm going to take my hat off to you because you about to get this work.
Yeah! They squabbling out there now. Yeah!
Edelman Williams versus Lil.
You got anything you want to say, Fantastic?
Hey, that man is not from Georgia, man. He from
No,
Alabama.
no, we can't be do that. That man says he's from the South.
No, the South, not
He's
Georgia.
from West Virginia.
No, he's from the South. He said he's from the South. So no, you can disown him. Mr. Fantastic. You have to take it once again. We have a Friday showdown special. Edelman Williams versus Little Podcast on the Conservatives Douchebags episode. So I hope you guys can make it. 450 people watching. We have 25 minutes to go. So let's go back to.
It's time to do.
Cheeky, did you find the stats?
Yeah, so I found it. I mean, mine's gonna put me in Georgia because that's where I'm at. So I guess at each state, but it says in Georgia, the parent who has been the primary caregiver of a child is usually the primary custodian in a child custody case. However, courts are increasingly moving away from favoring the primary giver and instead focus on the child's best interest. The standard often advocates for equal involvement from each parent in the child's life. Other factors that courts consider when determining child custody include the age and health of the child, the emotional ties between the parents and the child's tie to their school, home, and community, the capacity of either or both parents to meet the child's basic needs. And then it says if both parents are fit and want to be involved in the child's lives, the court may see it as in the child's best interest to have two active involved parents. So that's what I looked up.
And my rebuttal to that would be
relevance?
again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so yeah, my rebuttal to that would be again, it proved my point. Emotional attachment, that's not something that's measurable. So the law literally puts emotional attachment in it, and then there's still a bias as to where children are seen to be more emotionally attached to women, which goes back to my original premise of there being gender roles. Being that the woman is always going to be seen as the nurturer and the caregiver, she's automatically giving the edge in having more of emotional attachment to her children. So that's what I'm saying. The problem comes and it arises when you try to get into the statistical situation where it has many variables of nuance, and not only when that nuance is actually backed by the statistics. The fact of the matter, if it was the way to where they said it, it would be no possible way that a rational person will argue that, oh well, these mothers just are so much better emotionally attached to all these children at like a 80 something percent rate, 80 plus percent rate, high 80% rate, to where they're getting custody even from divorces and marriages than the father. That proves the point of what I'm talking about.
Well, I think you can look at that statistically, because if we just talked about how women tend to do more housework or house things or things involving children and child rearing in a traditional or even egalitarian relationship, then I can see how the court goes, well, she spends the most time with this person. And it still does say the parent who has been the primary caregiver of a child is usually the primary custodial in the child custody case. It's not the only factor, but they still say it's a very big factor, or it's still part of the factors. So if you are a house husband and you're actively involved when the child wakes up, brush their teeth, do this, that, and the third, you have a stronger argument as to, I'm the primary caregiver. I have an emotional attachment. These are the things I'm here for, versus a traditional or even egalitarian, which we've already went over. Women are still spending more time doing that, even when they're in a position to do both.
Thank you.
Friends, we have 1 more minute, and then we start to answer the questions, the final questions. Okay. If it's fantastic, 30 seconds, cheeky 30 seconds, or no, fantastic 1 minute, cheeky 30 seconds, and then we move on to the questions from the crowd. $20 and up for you to ask a question. One question per comment, please. All the super chats lower than $20 are going to be read by the end of the show after we give the votes. Okay, so go ahead, fantastic, and then cheeky.
So you just gave the whole argument to me, because like you said yourself, even when women are working and they're the major breadwinners, they're doing more housework. Remember when you mentioned what was it named? I'm trying to remember the non-paid hours. That's what it was. Non-paid hours of work, or non-work hours, or whatever. That was referring to housework being done in the home. So now women have a double whammy as to where she's the breadwinner and she can provide for their children better because she has more resources, and she still is the has a more of a connection and social involvement, because like you said, she's doing more of the housework around the house. And there'll be a difficult time for a man to quantify or disprove that, to say, okay, well, you're at home doing this and all these different things and so on and so forth, but hold on, she has video, she has evidence of them taking them to all the games, all the practices, all the activities, while she's still working an 8+ hour shift a day and providing for the family. So like I said, this is where it comes to, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things that
But that doesn't go against my point. That my point is, if you're the house husband, you be doing those things and she would be working.
Yeah, but no, but I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. It's still going to come around and bite you, because simply it's not going to work that way, because the husband is more so in the house. The woman gets to still use the argument that, hey, I put just as much home, what would you call it, homemaking and nurturing and stuff, in spite of me having to work a shift for the woman. That's the argument that she would be able to use. And like I said, when you look at the situation as to where the women, the very, very small number of men that get custody in situations, be they house husbands or be they, you know what I'm saying, the primary caregivers or whatnot, what have you, you would have to substantiate, they will give me the numbers specifically to the number of men that get custody in those situations. And I'm telling you, it's going to be extremely, extremely low.
Well, it's going to be extremely low because there's just not that many house husbands. That's the point. Like, the reason why I could see men not getting their children or winning being the main custodial parent is because I don't think by the court's qualifications of a primary caregiver, most men will be able to fulfill that role because you've already stated that men work more than women. And we've already looked up the stats that men work an additional 3 to 4 hours plus outside of the home. So how can you take care of a kid 3 or plus 4 hours outside of the home and she's 5 hours in already?
Yeah, but I'm speaking to that directly. I'm speaking directly to that. I'm talking about the cases and those instances where the man is the house husband already, and he is the primary caregiver, and the woman is the breadwinner. There's still too many numbers of cases where the woman still gets custody despite that situation.
So you're saying that's the majority?
Yes, yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So, and then the man is looked at as not being able to financially provide for the children. So if he's at home and he has no way to support his children, he's not stable as an adult. That's how the court looks at men. He has to be able to provide himself not only a place to stay, but he has to be able to provide a place for the children to stay when he has time with them. He has to be able to afford food and all
that wouldn't apply. So you're saying that wouldn't apply if the roles were reversed for a woman? And do you have a way to substantiate like a role or a case
already for a woman? And that's what I'm saying. A man is not seen the same. We go back, and that's why I say we have the context and the gender roles is incredibly important here. You acknowledge
that's not what the law says. That's where the conflict
comes in.
in.
The law can say how the law reads and how the law is handed out or delved out are two totally different things. And
Thank you very much to both of the gentlemen. Did a great job. Great debate, clean debate. Even though the shadow arm was activated, I think we have something here. So I appreciate you, Mr. Fantastic and Cheeky GBG General. We are going to start with the questions, the $20 questions from the public. But I have two questions of mine first, right? Quick questions. Fantastic and Cheeky, do you believe in gender roles?
Yes.
What about you, Cheeky?
My bad.
Do you believe in gender? No, it's fine. Do you believe in gender roles?
I don't believe in them being stagnant, but I don't. Explain gender role. Tell me what you mean by that.
Gender role means that your role is stuck by societal norms, meaning the guy is the breadwinner, the woman is the caregiver. Like the guy mows the lawn, the woman cleans the dishes, like those type of situations. Do you believe in them? You don't believe in gender roles? Okay, perfect. The second question is resentment and respect. This is for both of y'all too. Do you believe women will resent or respect these men that are in these positions? Meaning, if it's sustainable that these women are going to go outside, these men are going to take care of the kids and do the job, do you think these women are going to respect these husbands or resent them? And you can give me another version of the answer if it's not in respect or resentment category. Cheeky first, I did fantastic.
I think the woman will respect the man if that's what she's going to do. The problem that I'm having is if they're disrespecting men in traditional roles or gender roles, then what does it matter? Like, my point is, let's just choose the thing that's more beneficial. If she disrespects you and you pay all the bills, and she disrespects you and you pay half the bills, what does it matter if she disrespects you if you don't pay no bills? It's all disrespect. So it's like, well, at least I get the kids. At least I want to pay her out. At least. So that's my idea. It seems, especially the way that we talk about relationships and dating and women, if all of them are trash and we still think, they're good enough to put a ring on, then why would I pick trash that I still got to pay at the end of the day when we're going to get divorced more than likely? It only lasts 8 years. And according to most of the men here, they're more promiscuous, which means that divorce rate increases even more. That's another thing we didn't have. So it's like, might as well just get on. Mr. Fantastic, you remember that man in Atlanta that was light skinned who was like, I need somewhere to stay and 1,000 women.
Oh yeah, I did a story on that.
That nigga. Come on, man. I just say be more like him than the ones that's out here being married and simping, according to Mr. Fantastic.
Well,
Fantastic. What do you think?
In my rebuttal, first off, to hell with them light skinned niggas. Okay, fuck they light skin, fuck they light eyes. He a little fella Federation nigga. He homeless. I don't care about none of that. But now if you guys could turn with me to your Bibles, okay? Ecclesiasticus, verse chapter 25 and verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Okay, this is in the Bible. A woman will not respect a man that she has to take care of. Okay, a woman will not respect the man she has to take care of. And as my opponent pretty much not conceded to, but acknowledge, numbers do matter. Okay, the proof of that women leave men at a 50% higher rate when she out earns the man is that she does not respect that man. She cannot respect that man. And to give more context, I think it's a lot of, again, back to the gender norms and gender roles as to where society looks down on her because she's with a man that she has to take care of. So when you put all of those things into her own personal feelings, women having to deal with stress, women have more oxytocin, and things like that. I think somebody mentioned psychiatry. I didn't really get into that part. I might use it when I get to there. And that makes women more not be able to react as well to stress as men do from even a biological standpoint. So a woman that's stressed out and has to bear the brunt of the financial responsibility and survival of the family, it eventually, again, the numbers say she's going to get tired of that man, leave him alone out of resentment.
Okay.
Cheeky, 30 seconds, and then we go to
Absolutely.
the other moderators and the questions of the chat. Go ahead.
So when we start using the Bible and applying it to certain lifestyles, when do we stop it? You digging these girls down, Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Relevant.
Lord.
Relevance.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
Oh
Lord.
What everybody don't be following the Bible until it's convenient. Well, all I'm saying is, Mr. Fantastic, are you digging these girls down?
Filth, brother. That relevant. That's not relevant, brother. Again, I was using a historical text as concept. Hold on, as proof of concept for the topic we're talking about at hand, brother. So my digging down of the women.
Let me use some historical context too. When anything you could do, I could do better, says the women. So anything you could do, I could do better. I could do anything better than you. And education wise, they're doing it. They're starting to show, hey, look, we can be smart. They are increasing their finances to where it's very much so close to men's. I think it's going to continue that way as long as men don't get enough education. So yes, while he may use the Bible for certain aspects, and then other aspects, you know what I'm saying? I'm biblically knowing her every day, and the other one every day.
Uh-oh. So Jochebed and Lady Chen, do you guys have any questions before I go to the questions? The $20 and up from the public. There's 412 people here. We are 15 minutes away from the judges' scores. So Jochebed, Lady Chen, any question?
No question.
No? Lady Chen, no. So it's time to go to the crowd.
Brother.
And low MCVTs. Let me start with the last one because the last one it sounds harmless. So Valerie asks, Mr. Fantastic, why did you want to debate Cheeky? If you can, 30 seconds.
Hey man, Cheeky's a smart young brother. Is respectful, and very knowledgeable. I like his delivery. I like the way he minds things out. And he's a respectable person to have a battle of the minds with. So that's why.
Thank you very much, Valerie. And Mr. Fantastic, I saw you asking for his Cash App. His Cash App is rolling down there. Cheeky Cash App is rolling down there too. So if you can, please support them via Cash App. I would truly appreciate it. Okay. So please go ahead. Mr. Fantastic 824 and Cheeky Banter. Does he have a space, Cheeky? Doesn't have a space.
I don't. No, it's all together.
It's just Cheeky Banter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Valerie. I appreciate it.
Oh no. He does have a space. Yeah, my bad.
What happened there?
No, it does have a space. It does. It's,
No, but is that going to show up on your Cash App? If what is the hashtag? The dollar.
Is it an underscore? Is it an underscore? Because it can't be a space.
Yeah, it
No,
can
it's
be a
not
space.
Okay, well then it's just $ cheeky banter is what it is.
Okay, that's all. Is everything together? So Mr. Fantastic 824 and Cheeky Banter rolling in the bottom. If you guys had fun, you guys was asking for a civil debate, and I think you guys got one today. So if you can reward our gladiators today, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much, Valerie. Once again, I appreciate you. Ilkan Ali is the sponsor of the show right now with $200 and something. He says, good luck to my brother Fantastic and Cheeky. May the best mind win. Salute to the untouchable. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. Valerie's in the building. Says, hello, Mr. Fantastic. Good luck, Cheeky. Thank you very much, Valerie. You have Lauren. She says, Cheeky, Beaky, may the odds ever be in your favor. Thank you very much, Lauren. We have Lauren back again, and she says, Mr. Fantastic, Swishy, you better have your stats memorized. War of the Stats activate.
It's time to do.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Let me parse through these. We have Jochebed. He opened the moderator situation, and Ali saved me. I will acknowledge them later. Thank you very much. Point 5, thank you very much for the 5 memberships. We'll acknowledge it later. Okay, thank you very much for the 20 memberships for the Untouchable Empire. We'll acknowledge it later.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
We have Carl Anderson. He says, traditional debates suck. Good information, but we need hate.
Oh man, hate.
Just kidding. Debate art, debate fair, debate forever. Thank you very much, Carl, for all the support. I appreciate you. We have JJ Carver with 5,000 YouTube dollars. He says, as quantitative psychologists, relying on a handful of studies and selective economic data while ignoring comprehensive mental health research reveals a superficial understanding of the complexities involved in gender roles and family. Thank you very much, JJ. I will acknowledge it soon. Thank you very much. We have Marvelous. I think it's the first question. He says, can a man be a house husband? Sure. Are families going to continue breaking up? Yes. What outcome are looking for? Strong families or stronger individuals? The first two questions are for context. Respectfully, Fatty. So let's go to the last. Questions. What outcome are we looking for? Strong families or stronger individuals? This is for Cheeky. Absolutely. So let's Cheeky. Can you answer that? What outcome are we looking for? Stronger families or stronger individuals?
I feel like family is made up of I don't know. Stronger individuals, I guess. I don't know.
Stronger individuals. Thank you very much, Marvelous. I appreciate it. We have the dating pool roast reactions. HQ is in the building. She says, we still have to accept that men only fight for custody 5% of the time, but when they do, they usually win.
That's inaccurate.
Go ahead, Fantastic. 20 seconds.
That's an inaccurate statement. That's false. That's a false statement and a false stat.
Damn. Thank you very much, HQ. Valerie opened the Shadow Realm with $100. Thank you very much, Valerie. I will acknowledge this after the show. I appreciate it. We have HQ back at it again. She says, no, it means winning custody or partial custody. Cheeky is right.
And I gave clarification for that. No, I was right. She's actually agreeing with exactly what I said. That custody can just simply mean that either parent or both parents are given time. That's what they're considering or classifying as a win, quote unquote.
Thank you very much, HQ. HQ comes back again, and she says, yes, men can fight for custody of their children in court, but it's rare. In fact, only about 4% of divorces involve fathers fighting for custody, and 2016 census report found that only 17.5% of fathers win custody. Thank you very much. Once again, HQ, we have John Henry in the building. What's up, John? He says, salute peoples. This is a patriarchy. Therefore, why would a pergamous woman want a man that is competing for the same job she's after, i.e., housewife? Patriarchies thrive due to competitive males. Chicky, you say you know it in your head. Do you want to?
Yeah, I don't. I think that the fact that we're continuing to push women into higher roles of education, CEO, all of those things is just pointing to us not living in a patriarchy, more so an egalitarian system, to where men and women are, or women are trying to be equal. But that's just my thoughts.
Let me keep going. Thank you very much once again, John Henry. Remind people that super chats lower than $20 are going to be read as soon as we get the judges' votes. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, John. So we are going to keep moving. We have Valerie. She says, Mr. Fantastic, why did you want to debate Cheeky? We already got that out of the way. Thank you very much, Valerie. Let me see if I didn't miss anything. And we have finally John Henry, the last question. If a woman can decide on what to wear, what school to attend, and what car to buy, why is it always up to God to decide on when to send her man? Good job on both of you for being civilized. Thank you very much, John Henry, for the support and the love. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to all the super chats lower than $10 and $50. Oh, the last cost. Okay. So he sent 5 more 15. Cheeky, 80% of black men marry black woman. How are 80% of black men going to find breadwinner black woman to want to take care of them? Where, how, what steps do you take? Tell us, please clarify this, Cheeky. And then we have AL with the last question, the last $20 still in check. Go ahead, you got this.
Yeah. So again, I don't think that every man wants to be a house husband or every man should be a house husband. It's more so, can they do it and will it be supported or should it be supported? That's really the argument. Now, what steps do you take? That's dependent on the person that you're trying to attract. If she finds you attractive, then as we've seen before, Mr. Fantastic has covered this on his channel. She'll find a way to take care of you. Women are tricks too. So let's not act as if that's not the case.
Thank you very much, Jesus Palace. I appreciate it. We have 2 last late entries and 6 minutes to go. But if you don't have more questions, we're going to close it out as soon as the questions is over. AL, $20 says, the custody stats don't take into account that most men don't fight for custody because their lawyers recommend not to unless there is very high chance of winning, i.e. she's very unfit. Thank you very much, AL. I appreciate it. And finally, Ilkan Ali, the sponsor of the show today with bajillion dollars. He says, the fact that HQ is telling men to fight for their kids instead of telling women to stop making men fight to have the fathers in is the problem. Women are asking men to fight women to stop doing men wrong. And friends, we got to the end of the questions. Any of my moderators has any question before we close it out? And to the two debaters, any question, any new question as to before we wrap it up? Lady Chan says nope. Jochebed says nope. And I'm going to read this one from John Henry, and then Mr. Fantastic and Cheeky can do final considerations or 1 or 2 questions, something quick, so we can go to the judges. John Henry, $20. He says the fact women are getting more degrees does not negate the fact the degrees they receive result in low-paying jobs, thus leaving the majority with the degree and high debt. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Cheeky and Fantastic. Fantastic did the initial consideration. So, Cheeky go first, and then Fantastic go last, and then we close it out for the votes.
All right. So I guess my closing argument is that I think that this trend of women just progressing, whether it be on an educational level or financial level, will continue to grow because the norm, and it'll become the norm because men are just ignored or viewed as privileged or bad, or they're viewed as they can take care of themselves, or they're men. They've already had their rights to be here. There's been a patriarchal system. So I just think that this will continue to happen. This will continue to grow. And if it doesn't, that still doesn't change the fact that I think that we still need to expand our roles beyond just provider and protector, because I think men are a lot more complicated and a lot more there's a lot more aspect to what a man can provide in regards to a relationship. And I think women are showing that there's more to women than just being a homemaker or baby maker and whatever the case may be. I think there's some room for compromise on both ends, and there should be support for men to take that role if it's best suited for him and his wife, and he shouldn't be judged for it. That's simply it. So yes, I just don't know why. I don't think that we should fight to maintain traditional roles that have led men to be consistently at a disadvantage in marriage. It ends at a 50% rate within 8 years to women who are more sexually liberated and promiscuous. So I just think being a house husband is just a little bit more logical, and will continue to be the best route, because if not, we'll perpetuate men being limited in their roles in relationships in society, which already has a negative impact on men's health. So that's just my thoughts.
Fantastic.
Well, I see a lot of women in the saying, bigging my opponent up, and I'm just saying, hey, man, hey, baby, if you're looking to take care of me, let me know, okay? Listen,
yeah, make them big screen, make them big screen, make them big screen.
You're gonna have all these women out here that are willing to take care of a man and provide for a man. Hey, sign me right up. But the problem is, it's never gonna happen, okay? Not gonna happen because societal norms is just that. It'll be too much of a major paradigm shift and philosophy shift, biological, societal, a lot of different things, psychology, psychological, a lot of different things that will have to change in order for it to be okay for men to be able to do these things, and not only for again, most importantly, the women that are dealing with those men. I don't think you're going to have enough, especially when we have directly today women saying, hey, they want a man that earns more money than them or is at their level or above. So to Cheeky's point, is he's saying as these women make more money, they're expecting the men to make more money as well. And that trend is tracking way better, way faster, and more constant than the trend of the anomaly or the outlier, to where the woman is willing to take care of the man that makes less. As you said and alluded to, listen, as high as the marriage rate may be, divorce rate may be, and I just looked it up, but I forget what it was like, somewhere between 40 to 60%, depending, right? You increase that by half, 40 jumps to 60. Okay, 40% norm to a 60% norm. That's more than half of a chance of it failing. So I think we can't, what I'm saying, consider the numbers and then dismiss the numbers at the same time, when again it's telling you, when women have to do this, and it tracks with my point as to where they just cannot maintain it, be it again themselves, something that they have personally, or be it outside pressures from society, family members, girlfriends, circles, all those different things. And then we get into a lot of the other things we talk about, where women are naturally hypergamous. A woman that's hypergamous does not want a man. It goes against her nature when she's dealing with a man that makes far less than she does. And most importantly, the house husband thing would contain some men that did not provide anything at all. Not the most, not all, but a substantial number of them would be in that category also.
The debate is concluded. I just want Cheeky to come back to this. This is the last one, because it seems like Caesar Palace didn't like the answer. He said that was not the answer to how and where, what steps Just because a girl likes you do not mean she wants to take care of you financially for life. So don't know, got it, just say that. Between the how, where, what steps, pick one and answer which one you like. At the three, how, where, and what steps, pick one of them, and we move on. Once again, thank you very much, Caesar Palace, for the support. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Chicky.
There's not $20.
No, it's because he sent $20, but he says that his answer, the question wasn't answered.
I'm gonna give him the same answer. Move on with life, buddy.
Abracadabra do.
By magic, Caesar Palace, you have to do abracadabra do, and you will become a house husband in 2024. So, friends, once again, I'm telling you, some people that we never thought was going to get married are married now. So don't you ever lose your hope to become a house husband. Maybe
Yo, you gotta chill. You gotta chill. You gotta chill.
No, it's possible. Everything is
Bruh,
possible.
okay, so Patty, that's like asking the question: what made her choose him? Like, come on, how am I supposed to
Everything
answer
is
that?
possible on the wise
Like,
words of
no,
Kevin
just-
Garnett. And you can go from almost homeless to having two business by doing literally nothing. Okay? Put her name on your deed, sir. Make her I appreciate you, friends. And I'm not going to be messy because today is a day of celebration. We might have something to talk tomorrow.
Brother.
But friends, I know this debate was very solid. So the moderators and the judges are going to get slack for what we're about to do. Again! So friends, oh friends. This is what we're going to do before we start the judges' considerations. I need Cheeky and Fantastic to open a poll on their YouTube chat saying who won the debate, Cheeky or Fantastic. Who won the debate, Cheeky or Fantastic? Right now is 2 a.m., 2:20 in my country, so is what, 8:20. We are going to close the polls at 8:30 Eastern, okay? In 10 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed the product. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. God damn it, that rollout, I think, is my best job yet. But some people say that I don't know how to do things. So, hey, man, maybe I will learn something from people that are streaming for 7 people. So, Mr. Fantastic and Cheeky, here we go. Let's make this. This is done. Let me start. Let me be the first one to actually give my considerations. And once again, thank you very much, fellas, for being here and for doing a great job. This is the most difficult job that I had moderating, because not moderating, judging, because people were having conversation in good faith, and it was not a question of like just using straw mans and deflections and moving the goalposts. Both of y'all engage in the conversation, so awesome. Okay, I will start with a statement. I think my bias is going to dictate, like the bias that I had before coming to the show is going to dictate for the most part why am I going to pick the winner, right? I think Cheeky had an uphill battle because we have social norms. We are used to certain type of society. So it was on him to kind of sell us the house husband. So I want to preface with that. On the good side from Mr. Fantastic, I think he is right about the 1-for-1 replacement, blue collar jobs. I think that will be a disaster. For example, if you are somebody that your job is going to the night and pick up trash cans, if our woman doing their job, 2 women, they will take 2 days to finish around to the city, while two men can clearly do. You guys went for like I think a scream. It will be the military, but I think even on day to day, like even be a security, not the security job, but the mall, like not mall. I don't know the name, but the security guard that is on the mall. We had the problem with the Secret Service during the Trump inauguration, where the men were doing their job and the woman ducked for cover and kind of pretended that they were doing what they're doing. I think that's my bias coming through, but I believe that women are not going to be able to replace. It's going to cost way more to the companies one for one than doing this than replacing women and having to hire several women to do one man job in certain jobs. The extra hours and productivity, I have to agree with Mr. Fantastic. Woman, every time if you look everywhere, if women have absence like those 30 days, 20 days, whatever, like the payoff time, most women take that. Most men usually compound those because women usually take the most time they can, women usually don't. We have the white collar jobs too. I thought my bias was with the blue collars, but I don't think there's enough women in STEM, and I don't see it happen too because women just are not interested in science, technology, and all that. And the increased percentage of divorce, when Fantastic presented the stat that 50% of is 50% more likely to end in divorce when a woman earns more than you. I think the level of respect is going to plummet if she earns way more than you, and more than 50% is a lot. If we are going to increase and increase and increase, I think that will be like a collapse for society. Fantastic lost points in. He gave, like, he thinks the courts won't give the key to the man, even though the man is the house husband that takes care of the kid all the time, every time, and is actually the one that has the time with the kid. I think that was unfair. I think if a man is a house husband and take care of the kid in any sort of capacity, I think it will be. I know the courts are not fair, but I think it will be a ridiculous statement if the courts gave the kid to the mother that is literally the earner and is not taking care of the kid. He lost another point by citing the Bible when this motherfucker doesn't. Can we do it? That no. Can't come here and say, "Oh, the Bible." The Bible says.
Where you at right now, Fantastic? Where you at right now?
What you doing? Can we do that? Can we do
Hold
that?
on, I gotta protest.
That's
No,
blasphemy.
I gotta protest.
That's blasphemy.
Not blasphemy. My personal dealings or whatever, what I'm doing has absolutely nothing to do with a principle it's a supporting principle. I just said that women say women. I can find a constant thing where women say they don't want a man that don't make no money. They don't want no broke niggas. They don't want no dusty niggas. It's just a Bible version of it.
Nope. Can do it, and you can't peer pressure. You can't peer pressure the judge into doing that. Okay, you can't do that. On the cheeky side, there was two very strong points. The companies are already moving in that direction. They're already doing it. There's a very strong point. It's not something the companies are already doing this and putting women in positions just because it looks good or because they believe in gender equality and all that. So this has been pushed. I think this is a very strong point for what Chiki has said. The second one is if we keep telling that the kid is more successful when the father is more involved and the kid like the disciplinary and all that things, I think is a very strong point that if a father stays at home and takes care of the kid all the time, that kid will have way better outcomes than whatever we can throw at them, because that's what we say in this space. Let me see. And I don't have more blunders. I don't have blunders for Chiki. It's just, once again, I think my bias before the debate carries to this conversation. So I gave more points to Fantastic because my opinion was already on his side, and it's very difficult for Chiki to work from a deficit. I tried to take my bias out of it, but it was complicated. So I will award this debate to Mr. Fantastic.
Brother.
Cheeky did awesome. It was very difficult position to debate from. And once again, I appreciate both of y'all for being here. Let me go to Jochebed. No, Lady Chen, you are going to be last because you are going to be the one that is going to decide who is the winner if Jochebed votes for Cheeky. I don't know. So let me go to Jochebed first, and Chen will have the last word. Go ahead, Jochebed. You got this.
Okay. So my biases. Well, let me start a different way. So my understanding of the debate is fantastic. His standpoint is traditional family, how the family is traditionally set up currently, how the man is the provider. That's the best option for families in society. Right, Mr. Fantastic, did I get that right? Okay. And Cheeky's stance is that house husband 2024, 2025 is the best solution for the current problems in our society today, right? Cheeky's definition of house husband is when he brought it up from what he read from the dictionary, sounds like it should be the same as a housewife, reverse caring for his family, managing the household while his wife goes out, and his main occupation is not caring or not going out to work, but he may have some other occupation. So I did here are the things that I kind of honed in on when I was listening. I was listening for content delivery, persuasive argument, evidence, reason for their arguments, rebuttals, and how they refuted each other's arguments. So although I completely disagree, because I'm a traditionalist, so I completely disagree with Cheeky's points. I think that's the worst thing for marriages. However, based on how he prefaced his argument, he said that the problems in society right now, um, house husbands would provide the best solutions. And I think he was better at his persuasive argument. I do think that he was better at content delivery. I think that both debaters were great at giving evidence. So societal norms, data, stats, I think they both gave good evidence as to why they had their stance, or for different points in their rationale. I do think that Mr. Fantastic had better rebuttals and he refuted Cheeky's points better. However, I do think that when it comes to certain arguments, I think Cheeky had the best argument because his stance is the problems currently in our society going forward, from a progressive standpoint, the problems that we have in our modern society, and what he brought up with the divorce rate is already low, um, like different. I think he was better at arguing those points. Although I agree with Mr. Fantastic more, because like I said, I'm a traditionalist. I do think that Cheeky had a better the way he laid out his plan for what's happening in today's society, because his premise is society's already messed up. So if we want to change things for foresight in the future, this is the solution I'm proposing. Mr. Fantastic was more of, this is what's best for society, and this is what we should do. He didn't really give me why it's best for families, and families are the fundamental units of society. He didn't really tell me how it affected children. When I asked him that question specifically, I think Cheeky gave a better answer. And to me, if society is based on family units, then I would want to hear why it would be better for families. And I think Cheeky gave a better comeback as to why this would be better for children, how it would affect future generations. And that was Cheeky's point the whole time, how it's going to affect us in the upcoming. Like, he was more evolutionary to me, where traditionally, although that's my mindset, I think the problems we're having in society right now we do need something that would counteract what's happening. And I think Cheeky gave a much better argument as to why. So I would say Cheeky won the debate.
I know I should take Lady Chen for less. Lady Chen. Who do you have winning the debate?
Okay, let me just run down some points. I've only got a couple. The Bible is an admissible reference, by the way. That is, I don't know how you guys are trying to discount that as unadmissible, inadmissible. No, it's definitely allowed. Just because of your personal biblical or non-biblical beliefs, Fatty, what are you? You don't believe in a God, so it doesn't mean we have to go with your concepts. So just because Mr. Fantastic doesn't live according to every minute thing in the Bible, nobody doesn't make it a less effective piece of context that we need in this debate, and it could be used in this debate, because then everything could be deemed as inadmissible. We could be like, well, the Google thing was subjective. Who wrote that on Google? That was subjective. Where is the validity in that? So we're not going to do that. So, yep. But then also I liked Cheeky's men with children. You know, we have the single parent argument versus the single mother versus the single father growing up, raising a child. And the stats do show that single men with sole custody of their children tend to do better. So I liked that correlation that you made within, if the women go to work, the men will be rearing the children. So therefore, hopefully a better outcome according to the stats. I'm also coming from a place where, listen, I ain't going out to do the work, and y'all staying at home. I ain't doing it.
Damn.
I ain't doing it. Okay?
Why? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Why?
Why?
Because I don't want to. Simple as
I would
that.
lose respect.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd lose respect. Yeah, let's just have that right.
Damn.
Yeah, and I thought that Mr. Fantastic brought up better stats, better pieces of data. I felt that Cheeky stumbled and fumbled on some of his pieces of data that he misread or misconstrued at certain times or misinterpreted, and then Mr. Fantastic actually had to correct on certain of those stats. So guys, everybody in the chat was like, Lady Shan's asleep. I was awake. You're shocked now, aren't you?
Oh, shit.
Okay. Yeah, they was all sweating me in the chat. I listen. I don't have to be. I'm a listener. So I am going with the winner. Let's get the drum roll or something, Fatty.
And the winner is.
I want an effect. I want the do.
I don't have. Oh, you want to? Oh, do you want? Because he's going to cancel the art. So let's. And the winner is.
The winner is Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic with the win.
Brother.
Mr. Fantastic for the win. Mr. Fantastic is 2-0. Once again, thank you very much to both of y'all. Both of y'all did the great. and it's going to be interesting to see the people break down this debate because I am interested to see other angles, especially you, Cheeky, because I want to see what did you see that I didn't see, because I know for a fact this was a difficult one for me to go and go over my bike. I'm 100%. I need to see it from other points and perspectives. Do you have anything to say, Cheeky, on your first debate, and I hope not last on these debate Wednesdays?
Friends, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much to my boy Chef Chopinho. He said salute fatty, my bro Cheeky and fantastic. I appreciate you, sir. If the NBA parlay hits, I'm going to make sure you stay on for 12 hours. That's what he said. Thank you very much, Chef. My boy Carl Anderson. Shout out to Carl with 5 memberships. I appreciate you. And finally, Ducey saying for the Empire, don't stop the show. So, friends, I appreciate y'all. We have the super panel on Friday. We have a live debate, Miss Napa versus Ilkan Ali. They are ready to brawl. They are ready to go. So let's see where this shit go. Appreciate y'all watching the show. Team Fatty and the Untouchables. Sign it out. Peace.